Welcome to the lab where genetics collide. Reptiles everywhere with colors amplify. The morph so wild, they'll twist your mind. Patterns like art, every scale is defined. In the reptile world, we're raising the bar. Discover new genes, then combining them all. Creating foundations that make our brain shake. Insane combos that hit like an earthquake. Genetic canvas. Paint the dream. Make a dream where reptiles glow and the visions gleam. Tune in now, let's raise the ceiling. The best reptile podcast starts in 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us this episode, and can't wait to get into this one. This mutation this week is Redhead, and it's one of my favorite mutations as far as going forward into my collection and trying to see what it does. But tonight we have some guests that have been working the project pretty prolifically in their collections, and they're going to show us and talk about some of their projects and give us some inspiration and insights as to what this mutation does in a lot of these combos with some of these older mutations and newer ones. So lots of gems always dropped here on the show. Glad you guys came along to just see what goes on and see what happens here. I'm Jared the Jeweler with Gem Exotics. Follow me on Instagram for the show previews, YouTube, and also TikTok under Gem Exotics. Last week we covered the Stranger mutation. If you missed that, I just want to share with you guys a quick little recap here. So we'll see you in a second.
So that's the same combo with age.
They really hold that.
Wow, that thing is incredible.
So make sure if you missed that episode, you go back and catch the entire thing, because those were just two amazing animals that were shown. And it was a 2-hour long episode, one of the longest of the genetic canvas. So definitely tons of information, tons of animals shown, and worth the watch. Comment #ReplayGang, hit the like button, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss us live next week if you are catching this replay. And everybody that is here watching it live with us, drop a comment in the chat so I can say what's up here in a little bit. But I had that banner running a little bit early at the beginning there, but we do offer guest hosting opportunities, and just to let you know, we have 2 guest hosts this week. So let's go ahead and welcome them out. First up, we have Jamie from Professor Pythons joining us. How's it going tonight?
Good. How were your holidays?
They're great. I definitely had a great time with family, and just the joy to watch the kids open presents and everything. And I just made a list for what I want to buy myself next year.
Yeah, no, totally can relate to that.
For sure. How was your holiday?
Pretty good. Hung out with family and opened presents like we always do, and had a good food, lots of good food. But yeah, and then all my snakes are pairing up because of the rain that's happening out here in California. So,
Oh, that's good. Good weather for pairing up, and so hopefully you got a good season started over there.
Yep.
Well, our other guest waiting to come and join us is well known, I think, across the community by most people, but he's making some big waves as far as projects go, and I really appreciate him reaching out to me earlier today and asking to come on and join as a second guest host on this episode. Let's welcome Big Mike from Rammery's Royals. What's up, man? Oh, wait. Where is he at? He ain't here.
He disappeared.
He disappeared on me. I clicked him and he was gone. But when he gets back, here he is. There he is. What up, Big Mike? Thanks for joining us tonight. Can you hear us okay? You might have some audio problems. Can you hear me, Mike? Okay. Your volume is low on my end. It's hard to hear you. But yeah, Big Mike, he joined us because he has a very strong interest in the redhead mutation. He said he had a lot of questions to ask our guests tonight. So excited for him to join us, add to this conversation, and yeah, I'm interested to see what kind of paths he's taking with this mutation as well, and showcase some of his projects later on in the episode when we get to the honorable mentions. So when you get your audio fixed, just say what's up or test, and I'll let you know how it's sounding. But I do have a questionnaire for both of you, which I'm going to start with you, Jamie, and we'll wait for Mike to get his audio going. But what mutation holds the biggest foundation in your collection?
TSK Exanthic is
Exanthic.
the
So
biggest
if you don't know, now you know. We definitely get a lot of new viewers watching this show, and they're definitely going to be interested. I know we get a lot of viewers who already know some of our guests, but it's interesting to find out these questions, these answers going forward. I have some that mix it up too as well. So, what is your favorite morph for contrast? And it can't be the same one.
Contrast. I would have to say, I would have to say Desert Ghost or Enhancer. I mean,
Okay,
depending on what what line you're going with, you know. But yeah,
let's see. I asked him to unmute. We'll see.
see if he's coming through.
All right. So, is there any morph that needed you needed time to appreciate? Like you didn't necessarily like it at first, but you like it now and you work it in your projects.
That's a great question. Um, I mean, there's some morphs that I like certain aspects of, and not other aspects of them. Um, Not really. I mean, I feel like each morph has its own purpose and intention. Um,
Yeah,
and when combined with the wrong one, and it's like a waste.
gotcha,
Um,
gotcha.
I mean, high white pied, I didn't really like.
Hyde was the one. That would be my answer.
White pied because it wipes out the pattern, completely. You might as well do a blue eyed leucistic.
Back in the day, like before Blue Eye Lucies were even existed, like Peter Call's pieds and stuff were like $10,000 at one point, 15,000, 20,000 before that. I remember them at $15,000 around the time when I was starting to really dig into things, and that was back in the early 2000s. And I just remember I didn't really care for them because I was like, well, I like the pattern mutations, like the clown and the lesser, and lesser didn't work with Pied, and there was just so many things that it limited, and it took me a long time to really grow into it. And I love Pied now, but that would be my answer as well. Mike, you can hear you now, right?
I can hear
Yes.
myself. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
I
All
Yep,
would
right.
we
also
got
say
you.
bamboo. Bamboo is one that's been growing on me a lot more.
Okay, yeah, that one's, yeah, it took me a while to I liked it from the beginning because the palette and the color, but I didn't like the dominance of it in combos and breeding. But I do like some of the combos I've been seeing lately, especially in the bamboo episode we had. All right, I'm gonna circle back to you, Mike, with the first question. Which morph holds the biggest foundation in your collection?
That's going to be Bongo, and as of recent, Grim. I'm really got
Grim, okay.
the Grim project.
That's cool. I like the Grim a lot. It's like it's one of those it's one of those mutations that does just enough, and then the super form is wild, you know?
Yeah, yep. And honestly, I believe there's like two lines of it. If I'm completely honest.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
haven't heard that theory, but I haven't seen a lot of Grim myself, so I'd have to look into that more. What's your favorite morph for contrast?
For contrast, is going to be I would say Hypo.
Okay, I like that. That's interesting because the contrast that it adds, especially in a lot of that darker stuff, it can kind of swing either way, where the darkness gets that frosty tone, or that darkness kind of just gets more lavender. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah, and it enhances the pigmentation as well. You know, your oranges and your blues, for a lack of better word. You know, I like
Yeah, for
DG
sure.
too, but you know, I like enhancer more so than the Bell line DG. You know, due to
Yeah, I do agree.
flushing.
Um, I mean, we had the Desert Ghost episode. No. We had the Pastel episode with Billy at Mutation Creation. He has great comparisons for the enhancer and DG stuff, and I really do like the quality of enhancer better as
Yeah,
far as the
yeah.
color inside the alien heads. So this one here, number 3, any morph that took you time to appreciate that you work with now?
Well, believe it or not, pastel.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of pastel. I try to limit it, but I do like pastel outside of clown. So you know, I think pastel it works great in DG. Uh, you know, I don't work zebra, but from what I've seen, it works really good in zebra. Um, it's a great pattern mutation, and if you have it in DG, you know the pattern mutation you get from it and the pigmentation is, you know, it's great. The only thing I
Yeah.
dislike about it is in clown you get a bunch of night walkers, like, you know, from Game of Thrones. I don't like that.
Yeah, and pastel, like you're saying with the pattern, it does add a busyness to things, especially
100%.
in the Desert Ghost stuff. It adds a few more drops and cuts between alien heads where they're not mashed together as often. So I agree with that for sure. That's a good take on it too.
Thank you.
So the last question before we go forward is, um, what inspired you to become a guest host on the canvas, to sign up for the guest hosting? So simple question, simple answer. That's all that needed.
Well,
Jamie, we'll start with you.
okay.
Sorry.
I love learning new stuff. Always. I mean, I'm a teacher, so always getting more information. And it's just I feel like the genetic canvas is very educational, not just social. So it has that aspect to it. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, Big Mike, what was your answer?
I like Redhead. I like what it does in clown. And then, to be completely honest, when I saw you had Anthony and JP Reptiles going to be on here, who's better brain to pick than these two dudes? You know, so I was like, I need
For
to hop
sure, for
on there and
sure.
ask them some questions and learn something.
Heck yeah. I love those answers. So I got another banner for you guys right here. Save 65% off. One additional shipping label with Redline. 65% is the biggest discount you can get on any of those labels with Redline. And this is in addition to the other two that you get with the 60% off discount codes. So definitely go out, type this code in, and get that third discount. So if you ain't got it, I know they're doing the Redline patches again. Go ahead and sign up. You don't have to be affiliated or use Redline to even do it. Just it's just a cool 3D patch thing that they make it super affordable and everybody can do it. I actually had mine, but I did like a limit of 200 and they're all gone. I don't even have one for myself anymore. But check it out, Redline Shipping. We appreciate their affiliation and their sponsorship. So we are ready to get into the chat and say what's up to some people. I definitely wanted you guys out here to help me out. I'm just going to kind of scroll back up to the top here. I know people have been cutting it up in the chats all this whole time, so it might take me just a second. But if you guys see anybody you want to shout out real quick, go ahead.
I
Dickie,
had
what's going on, Dickie?
whoop, whoop.
The screen is
Like
crazy.
scrolling up the YouTube.
It flipped around.
Well, I've got
Yeah.
his patch. Like, who else is in our
All
chat?
right, where's the comments again? Gotta get back up here. All right, we made it. Where the hell? Sorry, everybody.
We got Mitzi.
All right, let's go through here. We got Dickie in the house.
Whoop, whoop.
Appreciate you. We got Adrian in the building. Shout
Adrian.
out to you. We got Third Coast Constrictors.
Going on,
Dwight
third.
the Pie Man.
Dwight.
Randall in the building. We got a new face in the house. Living Lifted. Appreciate you. Might be a familiar face with a different name. We don't know. Paul Clark. Appreciate you. Fred in the building. How's it going tonight? We got the sponsor in the chat, Sammy Vargas,
Whoop, whoop.
Sammy, what's
Full
going on?
Python, Graceful Pythons, Jamie in the building. Who else we got in here? Mitzi always out here showing love to the chats and to the panel. Appreciate you. Travis, TNS. I'm going to have him on an upcoming episode. So definitely go out and check his page on Instagram. Chris Walker, appreciate you coming by, watching the episode tonight. Dan at Vision Quest. Let's see, we'll jump around. We got Slayer Mason in the building. Appreciate you. And let's see, let's get up here. TJ Hutch Exotics. You got somebody with a little bit of reverb.
It's not me. I'm innocent.
It may be someone backstage. I'm
I'm
not
muted.
positive. We got Ken in the house. Appreciate you stopping by. Mark in the building. And we're going to stop here with James B. We appreciate you all joining, everybody else joining us live. Let's see. We're going to jump to the end here real quick. One more. We got Will, Python Portal in the building. Appreciate you all coming out tonight. So let me see if I can sort this out here. All right, it's Anthony. You got to fix it, Anthony.
Christopher Walker, what's happening, man?
All right, so are you guys ready to get into this episode and get these guests out here?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. All right, well, first up, we are going to bring out Anthony from Reptile Kreations. Oh, wait, no, he just dipped. Where'd he go? All right, we're having some technical difficulties tonight, so bear with us on this one. Let's welcome Jordan from JP Reptiles and wait for how's it going tonight, man?
Good, man. Thanks for inviting me on the show.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you with all your experience and knowledge, especially with the redhead mutation. You were talking backstage, you had some really awesome projects going this year. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've done this year, this past season that just passed. My primary focus was redhead, mainly because my redhead males were the only males that seemed to want to consistently breed, and I was getting super frustrated across the board with all my other plans not being able to come to light. And so I just started running my redhead males to basically everything that I had. And yeah, it just turned out pretty good. I'm very, very excited with the results and some unexpected surprises, and kind of just fueled me up to figure out what to do for next year and see where I can go from there.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's awesome. What are some of the what is your favorite recessive to work with the redhead mutation?
I don't know yet because I haven't really pushed the recessive. Like I know Justin's done some stuff
Okay.
with the hypo stuff, and some people have kind of gone down that road. My first recessive that I wanted to get it into was Desert Ghost, so I actually
What
have.
up?
Hello?
That audio is having
Whose
issues
audio is
over
that?
there.
It's Anthony's.
That's Anthony's.
Can we Mute him for a minute. It's like ringing in my ear.
Yeah. No problem.
But
But you were
yeah,
saying you haven't worked too many recessives into it, huh?
well, my first goal was to get it into Desert Ghost, so I made some hets, some visual clown het DGs with redhead 3 years ago, and they're all going to start breeding for 2026. So that was my first direction. I'm skipping the whole hypo thing because I'm going directly to the DG hypo clown, and that's going to be one of my things that I do for next year. So right now I'm just kind of like working towards the DG stuff, and I've just been combo stacking like in regular clowns. I think there's just still so much potential on just like combo stacking. Everybody is so focused on these multi recessives, and they're going to learn the hard way. They're going to learn that, like, yeah, you can make a DG hypo clown or a quad recessive, and they're super hard to make. But once you have them, you can just pump them out like chocolates. I mean, your odds are 100%. But you take, like, for example, the Pompeii or a redhead Pompeii. There's nothing you can do to make the odds better than 1 in 16 on a 5-gene redhead or Pompeii combo. Like, it's just nothing you can do. And I use the Pompeii as an example. I've been trying to make a female. I think I've made like 5 since 2020, since I bought the first one that ever sold. I haven't made a single female. And, it's so these single recessives, don't discount them, because when you start codom stacking on them, they're actually more difficult to make long term than the multi recessives, because once you have the recessives, you can just crank them out, right? So
Agreed.
I've been trying to see what I can do with, like, as I'm growing up my het DGs, and now I'm going to be working on some DG hypo clown versions of the redhead, growing those up. But while that stuff is growing, I'm still codom stacking with them to see, all these different directions. And there's a couple of genes that have really stood out that have done really well, and there's a couple of genes that I want to experiment with next year that I think there's some really good potential on.
How much do you like the strong interaction between the spot nose and redhead?
I don't know. It's a tough one, because a spot nose, like I just made this year, one of the combos I made was a spot nose redhead yellow belly clown, and it might have red stripe. I don't even know if it has red stripe. I'd have to look at it again, but I don't think it has red stripe. But just in itself, like, it's a gorgeous animal. It's absolutely stunning. It's super bright. It's like redhead has a little bit of pattern mutation influence, but also has color mutation influence. It can brighten up animals. It can make the pattern. But it's also, there's a few roadblocks that I've kind of seen with it, especially when you get into like leopard and spot nose together with the Batman project. Sometimes the redheads can just, turn out to be like a solid color and wash out any pattern completely.
Oh, wow.
But on the positive side, it the animals that typically start out like a solid color like that, like the maroons or whatever it is, they brown out over time. All of the redheads that I've made that have been a solid maroony kind of color, they stayed maroon into adulthood. They didn't actually brown out at all. So there's some positives there. So it's a little bit trickier, like, to navigate. Like, it's not one of those genes where you can just like, I'll just run it to whatever, right? There's some things that work really well, and some things that subjectively, depending on what you like, may not be visually appealing to you. Some of it is to me. But yeah, that one is more of a gene that you got to navigate towards.
And those are some of the questions we are going to cover too, like what morphs it doesn't work as well with, what takes away from it, and things like that as well too. So that's
yeah.
Welcome, Anthony. Appreciate
What's up?
you joining
I'm back.
us tonight.
I actually remembered I had an iPad, and the iPad works a lot better. So
Oh,
I'm there now.
Nice.
There you go.
There's no more scratch like feedback.
Yeah.
So, same question for you. I wanted to know, what's your favorite recessive mutation with the redhead in your projects?
Of course, it has to be clown, because that's pretty much what I put it to. Is there a feedback
Mostly,
right now?
No.
Okay.
There was
Yeah,
like
I put
a
it to
small,
clown.
but no.
That's pretty much all I have. I mean, I have it's about to go into some DG clown stuff, but I'm nowhere as far as JP is on that project, but I'm getting there. I have a few things I'm gonna throw at it, try and make some new stuff with it. But I even brought on the show and tell part an example of a gene that it doesn't go too well with, which I feel like the redhead doesn't go too well with darker genes.
Yeah, I have one that it's pretty much hidden in the combo, and it really fuzzed the combo out,
Yeah. Like I
So
have it. I have one over here. It's a redhead black pastel clown, and you'll see it just kind of browned it out. You know.
Rounds it out. Yeah.
interesting, yeah. So I'm gonna get us going into the creative lens, which is like the breeder Q&A. And the first question here is going to be, what project direction, let's say outside of clown, do you see it making a meaningful impact in going forward?
That's to me.
Either.
Yeah, we can start off with Jordan on the left.
Okay.
I don't know. It's kind of early for me to answer that because I'm still like tinkering. But I'm hoping that it does really great things with chocolate because chocolate is basically it's my claim to fame nowadays,
Gotcha.
and like I'm putting chocolate in everything. Like my business is going to be renamed to Willy Wonka's right? Chocolate has just turned out to be the absolute most amazing, best codom that I've ever worked with, and I think it's going to go really well with Redhead. And I'm doing those pairings for 2026, so that I'm hoping to see some good results from that.
And have you seen the chocolate redhead outside of clown, just in the Kodam stack?
I don't think so, but I've also like I haven't been as active on social media like throughout the
Okay.
year. I mean, I didn't even post on my Instagram up until October for pretty much almost the entire year. I kind of took a long break, so I've just been kind of disconnected, and it was I kind of did that purposely too. Like I really wanted to reset my brain with the way the market has readjusted and how things have pulled back a bit, and I kind of wanted to get back into more of like my creative element versus trying to watch what everybody else is doing and mimic what everybody else is doing.
For
So
sure, yeah.
in order for me to reset my brain, I just needed to completely pull back entirely from like I don't watch Justin's videos anymore. I don't watch anybody. Like not it's not because I don't like anybody, I don't want to. I wanted to reset my brain so I can walk into my facility and just be like, okay, I don't know what this is
Yeah.
gonna do. I don't know what
Get
that's
your
gonna
weird
do.
ideas going.
Yeah, just get my own ideas and my own thing flowing. And so far it's this year with Redhead, like I told you backstage, I'm sitting on close to 200 animals in the project right now that need to be fully identified, and some of it
That's crazy.
is okay, and some of it is like phenomenal, right? So it's like
Okay.
I'm really excited to kind of see the progression of this and how it moves forward.
And what are the mutation, or what are the, say if you could suspect the combination of the one of those amazing combos, what would you suspect it to be from the
So
pairing?
so my best redhead male is a black pastel red stripe redhead Batman. And I'm just looking for him right now as we were speaking on my because I wanted to send it to you on Instagram so you could show it off because the snake has this beautiful like maroon color and it has not browned out. I think mine is around 1,400 grams on my male. He has not turned brown whatsoever. Like he's still got this deep, rich maroon tone, and I plugged him away to like a variety of different things. And you know what's funny is one of the most surprising, and you'll laugh because I think a lot of people have kind of like are treating this gene like pastel, and I'll just say it, banana, right? There's a lot of people
Okay.
out there that are just kind of, whatever, banana, banana. Um, but that was, I would say, as just a simple combo, the banana redhead clown that I made, I think it was 2 years ago. Now she's a full adult. Is like was great. It was She's beautiful. I mean, not washed,
Okay.
not faded. So that was like a really surprise.
Did it get a lot of spotting, or did it have less
No, it stayed
spotting?
clean, like super
Okay.
clean, and that red stripe down its back is a bit wider, and it looks like a lava fissure out of a volcano.
Ooh.
Like it's just really,
Oh yeah.
it's really impressive. So I think there's some good stuff there, and some of
Is
the
it
best.
highlighted on each side from the banana as well? Like how the banana has the purple lines going down each side of that red?
Yeah, but it like it elevated the color, so it
Hmm.
really made the banana kind of brighter. It
Mhm.
opened that back stripe a little wider, and it's like super red, like literally looks like hot lava running down the snake's back.
And no spots whatsoever, Jordan.
Uh, I can't confirm if it was zero, but it's like very minimal. It's not
Very
like
That's
memorable.
good. That's great.
That's awesome.
so that was like a really good surprise. And one of the other surprises that I did some really cool banana stranger combos. I think it was 18 months ago or 2 years ago. that just blew
Yeah.
me away. So I think those two, like Stranger Redhead with Banana,
Okay.
is going to create
Ooh.
some really cool animals. I think Redhead and Stranger work really well together too. I've made a
They
couple of
do.
those,
They work
and
so well together.
yeah, it's just like really good stuff there. So it's. But if I had to pick one gene right now, just to answer your question, that I think it'll work the best in, which I'm trying to get there. It's just this female is ridiculously stubborn. Um, is special. I think special is going to
Okay.
be really, really well. I think. Well, I don't need to say. I think I've seen special redheads out of Justin's facility, and wow, like that's redhead is really. I
Yeah.
think it really thrives in the brightening stuff. The OD didn't really impact it as much as I was hoping. It made it look really good, but I thought it was going to be a lot more intense. I'm not saying it's bad. It's good. Trust me, it's good, but it's not as good as I thought it was going to be. But I think special will take it beyond what OD could
Okay.
in terms of like its
Awesome.
brightness.
Thank you for that answer. I mean, that was a great answer. We covered, I think you got the
Yeah.
banana redhead,
Sorry,
you
I'm a
got
sales guy
the
by heart. I talk a lot, so just
stranger.
cut me
No,
off.
I'm picking up on all these. If you're watching, you better be making notes. So, Anthony, same question for you. Is there a
Mhm.
project direction outside of what you work with that you see it making a meaningful impact?
So this year, I'm putting a few female redheads to a DG tri-stripe male,
Mm.
just
Ooh.
because I wanted to see what it's going to do with tri-stripe, how it's going to act. Is it going to add, some of that pattern? Is it going to bring the sides up, raise the sides up with pattern? Um,
Yeah, I
and
wanted to miss
I think
out.
it's going to look good with DG as well. I don't know if it's been made yet. It probably has been.
I
I'm
haven't
not
seen.
sure, but yeah, I'm looking forward to
Now,
seeing what that could produce. I mean, it'll be a few years, of course, but and then I think, like I said, I think it looks really good with light colored mutations.
Yep.
Um, I know you said the Orange Dream wasn't a wow, but there's a bunch of different enhancers that could make it pop. And I've also produced a bunch of just redhead clowns, and they're so variable. In one clutch I had like four redheads. All of them look different, and they were all just redhead clowns.
Anthony, you
hmm,
being so into clown, you not thinking about putting it into Krypton? Because I think Krypton is going to be
So I
a
do
big thing.
have a Krypton DG female. I didn't put her to a redhead this year, but yeah, that's a good,
I think that'll be dope.
yeah,
Do
Krypton is
you
underrated for
It really
sure.
yeah,
is.
And
It
the
really
price
is.
of it, the price reflects how
low.
underrated it is because I got a quad het that's het cryptic for a couple grand less than I would have paid for the het clown version. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it's just because only half of the clown or half of the expected offspring percentage wise are going to be clown. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a big missed opportunity for
100%.
what's about to come with Krypton stuff.
Plus, it's a 2 for 1. You getting 2 for 1. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Sure.
It's a homozygous. I mean, it passes on. Like, if you have a het clown, het cryptic with a triple het, that's a homozygous triple het. You're guaranteeing one, and then you can make another triple.
Yeah.
Everything's a quad. Not everything, sorry. You're testing. Shout out to Charlie, shedtesting.com. If you don't know, definitely shed test to know. That's all I got to say about that. But so what quality do you target the most for the selective influence in projects? And we'll start with Jordan.
Sorry, what quality do I select the most?
What quality do you target most from the redhead to influence into your projects?
I
which
don't know
babies
because
do you like and keep back?
Yeah.
I'm still experimenting, so it's hard for me. Like I'm just kind of trying to figure out different directions. And like I said, I didn't even anticipate breeding that much redhead this year because I had some other stuff on the go, but they were really good males and they were breeding absolutely everything. So I can't say I'm there yet to answer that question. Like right now,
I got you.
I'm seeing like a lot of really good influence from the brightening stuff, like the bright genes. But there's also some really good stuff in terms of like the pattern genes. And now this year, I'm going to try to figure out how it looks with some of the darker stuff, like the blackheads, chocolates. So I can't really say either or. I think I'm just tinkering, and
I got you.
I
Yeah.
think I guess the best way I could answer it is I think it's just going to work with everything. Ultimately, I think it's going to be it just works with everything. I don't think there's a bad direction right now that I've discovered outside of the black pastel Batman type thing. If you're not into that kind of low pattern, solid color looking snake, then that's what the only thing I would say stay away from.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, let's see here. Same thing for you, Anthony. Is
Mhm.
there any quality that you target for the influences into your projects?
Well, for me, the redhead is not only a pattern changer, it's also a color changer. Like you breed it
Okay.
to something and like it's just very unique, you know? Like I liked redhead from the beginning and when they first came out, they were so expensive. So I went the regular redhead het clown route and I remember I bought two of them, but they were pastel. So I bought two pastel redhead het clowns and one of them actually wound up not being redhead because it's hard to see if you just have it. To me, redhead was kind of tough to see in pastel as a single gene without a recessive. It was, and so I bought two of them. One of them wound up not being redhead. The other one wound up being redhead, and that's where my project with redhead took off because I bred it to pretty much a ton of like 10 snakes. Um,
Yeah, I see some online that are just like that doesn't look like a redhead to me.
yeah, it especially I feel like with pastel, it's hard to identify.
Oh, for sure.
Would
Like
Yeah.
it's very
See
very tough.
would
some
you?
qualities. Oh, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, would you say it is more of a color dominant changing morph versus a pattern changing morph, or fit like equally? Does it mess with the pattern versus the color?
The pattern is
You know
pretty
what's funny?
strong. So let
It
me.
does mess with the pattern, but if you look at a couple of pastel redheads online, some of them you're gonna be like, that just looks like a pastel.
Hmm.
You know, like I was fooled on one of them. They both looked identical almost, and one
Yeah.
of them proved not to be redhead.
So the
Um,
pastel is
Its
probably better than
pattern is really
the pastel
moldable.
really like zapped it, you know. But
depending on
Yeah,
yeah,
the
I
type.
mean,
pastel
it is
can
definitely
be crazy.
to me, it's equally with the pattern and the color.
Have you
Okay.
noticed that the pigmentation gets lighter on the redheads as they age?
As they
Depends.
age, I see when my adults, a lot of my adults are dark redheads, but I bred them to dark genes. So
Because I have a redhead head clown girl, and as she's been aging and progressing, she's getting lighter, which I
okay,
found weird and awkward. So I definitely a question I had for you guys.
yeah. I mean, I do have adult regular redhead females. I don't they don't I don't know if I would say they got lighter, but they didn't change. Like you know how sometimes some ball pythons they're not as pretty when they get older. With the
Yeah, that's
redhead, they
what,
kind
Yeah,
of stood the same as they looked when they were babies.
right. Yeah,
they
I
kind of
guess I
keep
was
a glow
expecting
to
them to
them.
brown out.
Yeah,
That's what it was. I was expecting her
yeah.
to brown out. She didn't.
But with the dark
Yeah.
genes, they definitely brown out a little bit. Like I have like some darker like high end genes that I want to put to redhead, but I'm gonna see how it goes this year with the dark genes. See if I could anything changes, and then I'll pivot from there.
Just to break down kind of like the visual expression influences of the redhead, typically they're going to have some longer dragged out striped dorsal markings, not like a full
Yeah,
stripe or anything like that, but some longer stripy markings down the dorsal. You get these really deep blacks that kind of stretch down the sides from that dorsal down, and then you get those high whites usually in the sides of the alien heads that a lot of people associate with like het clown stuff. But in the redhead, typically those white lines just come up naturally. And then you also end up getting kind of like a fuzziness around those keyholes in the alien head. And it's sometimes I feel like that expression is variable. Sometimes it's smoother, sometimes it's a little bit more fuzzy. That could just be maybe some other things that are at play, hitchhikers or whatever. But it always seems to have like in a single form a consistency, like a uniformity to its pattern, where the alien head's kind of squared off, still rounded at the corners, but kind of more square shaped and kind of more like in a sequence, in a pattern. You know what I mean? And not as distorted or broken up. But you always usually have that brighter blushing in the head towards the back. It's somewhat browner. They call it reddish. That's where I think the redhead initially came from. But overall, that's all you get. It's pretty subtle. And like you guys are saying, you put something that's a stronger pattern manipulator like pastel. We know pastel likes to busy things up and kind of throw it around a little bit, especially depending on the lines that you get with pastel. That it shows how moldable and how much you can manipulate and lose that redhead influence in certain combos. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there for anybody wondering what it looks like. I don't know if anybody has a single gene tonight to show,
I do.
but okay, you do? Cool.
So
So
Jerry, you're
we
pretty
will
much
get into
saying
that
that
soon.
it's not a strong, it's kind of a weaker gene, and one correlated with another gene stacking it. Is that what you
I
got
think that with
for?
I think with
certain
pastel. I don't
combos,
think with everything. I think in my experience, just with pastel,
Just with
it's like that.
pastel?
But
yeah,
with other genes, you could pretty much see redhead. I feel.
like spot nose redhead combos, like outside of a visual clown or anything, like those things are so interactive that Justin originally thought that they were allelic when he hit them for the first time, and he had to prove out before shed testing through breeding that they weren't allelic because he was able to reproduce a redhead spot nose from a redhead spot nose without one on
But
the
I
other
could see
side.
I could see an issue happening when you stack them. Like JP said, he has like 50 of them that he has to ID still, right?
Yeah. But
Well,
how crazy can those potentially be?
I felt kind of bad because I didn't like the whole show and tell thing. So I sent you a whole bunch of some of the stuff that I've already shown from my redhead results this year in
Okay.
Instagram. If you could want to, I don't know if you're able to pull it up on the computer.
Yeah,
So
when
when
Anthony's
we get
doing
there,
his, yeah,
yeah.
I'll go and see what I
Well,
can
we
do.
can go through a few options.
Yeah, I
So,
have a few I
is
brought
there?
out. I'm in the house, so I only brought a few because it's cold outside today. We have an ice storm.
You're
I
in
know
a
Mike
hurry.
knows
It's
about it.
after the
Yeah.
holidays. We're gonna come back for a 2.0 episode, and we're probably gonna do something with some of these clutches that he's got hiding and everything too. So definitely stay tuned. This won't be it for the redhead, and it won't be it for every other mutation either. There's gonna be so much more content after the single gene showcases. So my brain just don't stop. Is there anything that you feel is overlooked about it or underrated about the mutation?
I think the price it should be to me it should be a high end morph. I mean, I know it's been out for a while, but it's dropped in price significantly from when it first came out. To me, it's a beautiful. It's definitely still new gene. A lot hasn't been done with it yet. A lot of people aren't working with it. I don't know what the reason is, but I feel like
Yeah,
there
I'm
should
not sure.
be, I mean, a lot more demand for them, especially with the way they make other genes pop. You know,
Yeah.
Now, let me
Remember
ask you
that
about the super. Are you guys trying to go for any of the super redhead combos? Or I know
I
that's kind of more. It's one of those supers that's not exactly 100% proven from my
uh,
understanding. People think that
I
they've
did
hit it.
I didn't even try for it this year at all. Like everything I'm
No.
breeding redhead to is they're breeding to non-redhead stuff. You know.
Yeah. So I mean, I've known of some supers that have, supposedly been produced, but I'm not positive that any of those have ever been proven out through breeding,
Just like
and
the
we know
super
there's no
strangers.
tests. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know for sure yet.
Yeah. until a shed test comes
But
out.
that one, Jason Amos said last episode that the one Justin had sold that he, had it in
ID'd.
the video. He had in the video as a possible super. He said that that one proved as a not super through
Of course.
breeding with the new owner. So, but he did show off what he believes is a super stranger that episode. If you want to go back and catch that, where he only bred a stranger to a stranger just to try to prove it out because nobody else has. And that animal is it really is incredible. If it's a super, it makes sense as well. So definitely check it out if you didn't yet.
The thing is, with a
Anybody
lot of these
watching?
snakes, you breed a visual to a visual, and yeah, you may think it's super because it looks fantastic, but
Yep.
they're very polygenic. These snakes, like the stranger to
Oh, especially
stranger,
stranger.
you could call it a super, but unless you prove it out, it's just a really nice stranger because you bred two of them together.
Agreed.
Yep, for
You
sure.
know,
Yeah, and the stranger is one of those that has a lot of variation.
yeah,
But
tons.
I will say that one animal definitely has me going. I hope
If
because that thing was awesome. Definitely
anything,
check
I
it
think
out if
Irish reptiles would have came out with that a long time ago. They've had it for
he's
so
not.
long.
Yeah, I have to talk to Gavin. I think no, that's Paul's too. I have to talk to them and see,
That's
try to
rolling.
reach out and see Roland. Yeah, I have to reach out and try to see if he's attempted that yet.
I don't even think they're
But
they're not in the game anymore.
no, okay. I
Mm-mm.
mean, still try to see if he did attempt
Yeah.
it. But yeah, I mean, shout out to Shed Testing again for revolutionizing our industry and making it possible to test these mutations. Um, hopefully one day we get a shed test for every single mutation and we'll be able to know for sure. And if you don't know, the Mandarin mutation test just dropped with shedtesting.com. And I had a lot of animals. I needed to just confirm because I personally believe confirming Mandarin is going to constitute the confidence in your collection if you're not someone who bought directly from Tafauti
I heard
or,
there's going to be a
one of
lot
the
of
bigger
heartbroken
guys.
people.
Yeah.
Oh,
Charlie gave me
100%.
good
A
news.
ton of heartbroken people because a lot of stuff that's coming in is coming on negative.
For the first
Yeah.
time, Charlie hit me up and said it was positive. I wanted to send him a gift. My man.
All right. So back into this. Are there any combos that you are going to intentionally avoid with the redhead going forward?
Pastel.
Pastel,
Yeah.
Jordan,
Oh, not because I'm a pastel hater. Listen, I have pastel in my DG stuff and other stuff, but
just because you lose it.
I just can't see it. So yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Jordan?
I'm just happy to say out of I think 350-ish breeders now adults, I'm down to the last two animals with pastel.
Good.
Nice.
That's good.
I have that is one gene that I've completely worked on cutting out over the last few years, and for the exception of one project, but that's just another thing. But no, like
And
I said,
that's
I'm still
mainly strategically. I have to say this because this is a live and public episode. Mainly, I mean, I'm going to ask you the question. Mainly, you're doing that from an investment standpoint as a breeder. If you were a pet
not even.
collector,
It just
it
doesn't
wouldn't
fit.
matter to you,
But it just doesn't
right?
fit with what I'm working. The only mutation that pastel shines with what I'm working with is Desert
Yeah.
Ghost. But because
Mm,
I'm really focused on other things in DG, it's like if you just want to make really nice like DGG stripes, DG clowns with
yeah.
pastel,
Yeah.
like a pastel DG clown is gorgeous. Like it'll
Yeah.
sell at the shows, are really pretty snakes.
Yeah.
They stay super bright, but it kind of hampers what I'm trying to accomplish with everything else. So I'm willing to
For sure, for sure.
put
I
that
just
to
want anybody that's newer that might be
correct.
watching to understand that that's an investment mindset standpoint. It's not like we don't want pastel or we hate it. We were just talking about loving it earlier and certain things like that. But yeah, just don't want
It just
to
doesn't
set
work
up any
well with
bad
redhead.
what?
It just doesn't work well with redhead.
Yeah, there's
In my
always
yeah, in
those
my opinion.
mutations that aren't going to work well together,
Yeah.
and
But that's any gene, right? You got to use them like seasoning. You
Yeah.
can't put Himalayan salt
So
with regular salt. You're crazy. You know?
the one thing I notice about redhead is when you get combos that are really reduced, it tends to reduce it more. Have you noticed that?
I bred it to an Enchi and it actually brought in pattern.
Well, I don't mean reduced in that sense. I mean reduced as in shrinking pattern, not as in
Mm,
magnifying pattern. Just say it differently.
mm.
Like I say, a black pastel blackhead is really reduced, really floated, almost chained out pattern, right? And
Yeah, it's
then
chained out.
when you
Sure, but
throw
it's
like a
also
redhead
brown.
on there, it shrinks it up even more. Because I have a black pastel blackhead leopard chocolate redhead that, I mean, he basically just has a little stripe on his neck and then it just fizzles out to a bunch of just fuzzy clouds. You don't even see any color in them after a while. So that's one of those combinations where I've noticed the redhead tends to just take away from the visual expression and help kind of shrink it up and mute it.
Okay.
I don't know if there was anything that you guys have noticed like that. That's all.
No, I mean
I just
I
got
do
to
have
be
the black
honest.
pastel,
Like,
but
But yeah, black pastel redhead on its own was probably amazing though. I
yeah.
think in those deeper stack combos, it can get a little bit. You can lose it, or it can help lose the pattern that you're trying to look at, depending where you're going with it. So, is there any ALS directions that you like working with the redhead? I mean, I know you mentioned the chocolate, Jordan. Are you trying to work any ALS combos with that chocolate redhead direction?
sorry, ALS.
Yeah, acts like super, like chocolate spot nose, chocolate bongo, like I don't know, chocolate bongo.
Uh, no,
Bongo's not proven yet.
I'm not overly focused on a lot of like different supers except for the chocolate. Chocolate super. Chocolate is like, if anybody's watching this, if there's one takeaway is aside from redhead, just buy chocolate. Chocolate is the best thing that I've ever encountered,
Buy
and
chocolate.
I think redhead and chocolate has a good potential. I'm really hoping it doesn't do like the whole black pastel thing with the leopard and spot nose, where it creates these like just straight
I'm
colored
pretty
snakes.
sure. Sorry, I'm pretty sure Tim at Morphed Out Reptiles is working a hypo chocolate redhead direction. I'm not
Yeah.
positive if he hit the hypo chocolate redhead yet, but I know he had some hypo redhead stuff and some chocolate hypo stuff, and he was trying to mix it up.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
Nice.
but yeah, I don't know. Maybe a little insight there if he does hit one.
So
But the super
JP,
chocolate is going to be interesting.
you wouldn't want to hit an allelic combo with redhead that's spot nose and chocolate, being that they both work so well together.
Yeah, I would. I'm not a big fan of allelics in general because I don't like. I like more predictability in my outcomes.
Well,
And
that's really predictable because they're either
no,
going
I
to be
know, but
chocolate or spot
like
nose.
in terms, I meant like stacking the two together. Like I like being
Uh,
able to take one snake and being able to recreate it with something
Reproduce it.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
got
However, that being said, the Dark Knight stuff is just pretty good. So it's one of the exceptions that I make that I have no problems. Same thing with Blackhead. I watched Justin's Blackhead couple of videos he's made over the last 18 months with Spot Nose, and it's just another one of those like really awesome allelic combos that just work really well. So there's a couple of exceptions, but overall, like I'm very limited on space, right? Like I don't have massive facilities and 1,000 tubs available for animals, nor do I want to get that big. So I have to be very like careful and specific on how I approach things.
you.
Okay.
I agree with that.
And is there an ALS combo that you want to see it worked into that may differ, Anthony?
I don't know. I'm thinking of those Kryptons now. That Big Mike was talking about
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and that
actually
is
not a
an
bad
ALS
route.
direction.
But
Yeah,
I
that's
don't go.
awesome.
I don't go specifically and try and make combos like that. I just go with what I like. If I think that two like these genes will look good together, I pair them up. don't like try and okay, let me try and make a Dark Knight. I don't even think it doesn't even come to my mind. I'm like, okay, I think
Well, I just
a
think of
Pompeii redhead's
ALS
gonna look
as
good. So I'm gonna breed the black pastel redhead to red stripe, spot nose.
well. There's a
Um,
lot of ALS combos that aren't named, so that's why
yeah, I'm
I
sure there
asked
are.
that as
They
a
haven't been proven yet or
very,
whatever.
Well, there's like, the het red exanthic enchi, black pastel enchi, like that complex. Like you get the supers in the black pastel, the 8-ball complex. There's so many different allelic combos, So like,
Yeah.
not so to say chasing a named combo like the Batman or the Dark Knight or, Batman's not allelic, but like not necessarily saying chasing any kind of named project.
Yeah.
If it's in the spider complex, it's the best allelic in my opinion.
I think that the redhead
That's a fact.
mutation reacts really well with that complex. Like
Everything
over
does.
anything else, the blackhead, the chocolate, the spot nose. I don't think I've seen Bongo Redhead. I feel like I did, but everything I've seen out of that complex so far has reacted really well with the redhead itself. So if you could think off the top of your head, what's the best animal that you have available currently with redhead in it?
I
that you can share.
haven't shown any of it yet.
Yeah, you have them all
There's a
hatched
lot.
out. So
For me, I
I
think I
got
have a female redhead, yellow belly, fire, Enchi clown available on Morph Market. Actually, I have it over here. I'm going
wow,
to show it off too.
that's gonna be a beautiful snake.
Um, yeah, I have a few. Like I have another redhead. I was going to show off a breeder male with OD in it, but it's so deep in shed that it's going to look like pure crap. So I didn't even bother pulling it out.
Does the OD clean it up too much, Anthony?
It does clean it up and it gives it a creamier look than I wanted. I mean, it does have a few other genes in it. I'll tell you right now what it has.
Does it smooth off the edges a lot and like
Yeah,
clean it up in that
yeah,
way too
it cleans it
much?
up a lot. And it made it like very creamy looking. I'll tell you right now. It is. Oh, it's a redhead, red stripe, OD fire clown.
Damn, even with fire in it, it cleaned it up. Because I know it's
Yeah,
fire, man.
it came
Yeah,
Fire
out
red
like
stripe fire too.
almost looked hypo-ish. Like it got so. I mean, it's an adult now. As a baby, it was nice, and there was a lot of blacks in it. And as it got older, it the blacks kind of disappeared. It turned light.
Okay, it faded out in the blacks, kind of like a
Yeah,
fire, typically would.
yeah. It had a lot of contrast as a baby, and then it kind of lost it.
All right. So this next little segment, I sharpened it up from last week. We are calling it the genetic appraisal.
You got a
So
banner and
let's
everything.
see. Does it pop up here?
Yeah,
Yep.
it looks good.
Is it popping up? I can't
No,
see it.
not for
There it
me.
is. All right, it popped up that time. Hopefully it worked. Hopefully everybody saw it. But
Yeah, yeah.
this is going to be a quick fire questionnaire. 0 to 10 is the ranking scale. And we're basically going to give this mutation the single gene a morph score. So from 0 to 10, I mean, whoever has enough experience with the mutation can answer. If you feel like you don't, you can just say pass. But we'll start with Big Mike. What would you rate this mutation on its single gene look from 0 to 10?
Personally, I have one animal, but to me, she's a 10. I love her. I love what it does in clown, so I'm looking forward to seeing what it's gonna do. So I think
Okay.
it's a great mutation that's underrated.
All right. He's giving it a high score, setting the bar high. What are you thinking, Jamie?
I'm gonna pass because I don't have enough
Pass.
experience with this. I mean, of course, I don't know how well it would work with Xanthic, so
Okay. Yeah, I think it'll work really well with that, especially how it brightens as it ages and holds its color too. So, Jordan, what would you give it on a 0 to 10 for single gene looks?
the redhead.
The redhead on its own, yep.
Like without a recessive or like just itself?
Just on its own, yeah. This is just going to
I've
be
never
a
made
morph
one without at
score.
least. The lowest animal I've made with redhead is just a straight redhead clown, and I give that a 10 out of 10.
Okay. We'll just give it a 10 then for you. And what do you think, Anthony? What's your morph score for the single gene?
So I've made a redhead, just a regular redhead, without anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't that like I wouldn't be wowed by it. I'd
Yeah.
probably give it like a 7, you know. Then when you add clown to it, it just brought it all the way up, you know. Like it does
Yeah. Once
something
you put
with
it in
recessives that I
combos.
like.
Yeah. Once it's in combos, I agree. I
But
mean, that number shoots up.
without just a plain old redhead, you're like, all right, what is this? You know, like a grand, looks cranity or
Yeah. Yeah. So you gave it a 7. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it a hard score of a 6 because,
Damn.
like I was saying, I believe that in its single form, if you had it in a pile of normals,
Yeah.
and those normals had polygenic expressions like, blade and different things, you would be troubled to pick it out as its mutation. You would be like, oh, that's a cool one, but you wouldn't be able to say that's a redhead. And that's why I would give it a 6 because it is different and it is beautiful compared to a normal. And it does, I think, express better as it ages. So I'll bring it up to a 6.5 is going to be my score because the aging does give it a better score for me. So the next question is going to be its dominance of pattern in those combos. So how expressive the redhead is in combos from 0 being low to 10 being high. We'll start with you, Big Mike. What do you think? Or you can pass.
I'm gonna pass on this one since I haven't produced any yet. So,
Okay.
but from what I've seen, it's super expressive. But again, I haven't produced any, so I'll pass.
All right, Jordan.
I don't know if that question is. I can answer that either because it's not the same. Like it acts differently. I'll give you an example. Redhead and
Well, you
cypress.
you are saying it's pretty hard to ID,
In some things, but I'll give you an example. So
correct?
in cypress, it doesn't really turn the cypress into something more extravagant in terms of pattern, at least on the basic form of itself. But it brightens the heck out of it, right? So some
Yeah.
genes it'll like really do some crazy stuff with pattern, but other genes it won't. It'll just brighten them and make them look prettier, and so it just depends what you put on it. I
Would
don't
you
think there's a
say
straight
it's
answer.
more often that it enhances than takes away?
Oh yeah, yeah, like enhances the mutation. Absolutely, yeah.
And would you say that that enhancement percentage outweighs the percentage of animals you see it in that it's not good?
The amount of animals I've made with redhead that are not good are so minuscule that it's just a non-factor for me at all.
So you would say its dominance is higher than is what I'm getting. So let's try to pick a number between 7 and 10.
10.
Okay, 10. Pattern dominance is lit. All right, and then Anthony, what do you think for pattern
I
dominance
give
and
it an 8 on
combos?
that because it does,
An 8.
it does influence a lot of pattern, but I wouldn't give it a 10 only because there are some snakes that I feel it's hard to see, especially when you stack it. Um, so yeah, I've been an
Like
8.
the pastel would take away a half a point.
Yeah, or
All right.
I'm sure there are other
So
genes that it would be hard to see it, especially when you stack it. I think.
so this is going to be a good one. The necessity of shed testing for this mutation. Do you think that the necessity is high or low? But that's going to be weird because if you think that the necessity is high, you're going to go lower with a 0 being the highest necessity, and you're going to give it a 10 for having a low necessity. So we'll just go with Jordan. Because you have a lot of animals that you're curious about. So do you wish you had a shed test?
But I can't come here and say like that specifically because it's redhead. I mean, you take any combination of five or six, or some of the animals that I have seven codoms in them. It doesn't matter what codom it is or gene in general. It's going to be hard to identify. So I'm not going to say it's a redhead specific thing. I think the more genes you stack, the harder they're going to become. Now, for most of the animals that I've made that are like one, two, three genes, redhead has been pretty easy to pick out. But the complexity of the animals you make are it's not a redhead specific thing. It's a animal itself with all of these genes. All of these we're
Yeah.
getting so
It's also a knowledge of, how much you've seen and how you can identify it yourself. I mean, it's not an across the board thing by any means.
yeah. I can't say that like I need redhead to or shed testing for redhead. I can't say that. No, I think there's just it's based on complexity and what's at play and how many genes are at play. But there are some dead giveaways. Like a lot of the redhead combos I've made, solid heads with nice small little stamps, especially with the spot nose. So even if you've got five genes in it, you know right away if it's redhead or not just from that. So it just depends. But no, I'll say no. I don't think it's dependent on having shed testing. I think anybody that, especially you said you have a lot of newer people that are in the industry that watch you, they can get into redhead, they can navigate the gene and they'll be just fine. And if they have problems, then just send me a message. I'll see if I can help. And if I can't help, then I'll ask around for you like I do. You should see how many DMs I send out every week from all my friends. Hey, what do you think? What do you think?
So would you say a 9 would be a fair number because it doesn't necessarily need the shed testing because it's very powerful, but in those deeper stack combos, everything can't be perfect. So we have to kind of bring it down a notch just because when you get into those deeper stack combos, it's going to be harder to find and harder to see.
Yeah, and like I said, that's just every gene though. That's just everything. The more complex the animal is, the harder anything is to ID in general.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll give it a 9 for that. And what do you think, Anthony, as far as the necessity of shed testing?
I, I'm not sure if there's a necessity for the shed test on this because for the if you're only dealing with a few genes with it, like Jordan said, you could ID it. You could ID redhead. And I agree with what he said also. The more genes you add to it, the bigger the stack, the harder it is to, identify. Even the best. You have all these,
Yeah,
big dogs are setting their sheds out because they don't know what the hell they have either. You know?
I've
yep.
spammed
I
Justin's
mean,
phone
that's
with
just
pictures
across the
and he's been
board.
unable to help me.
Like I was just at Justin's house like a month ago and going through his
Yeah, we were
tubs.
hanging out.
And I'm like, holy shit. Like it makes my collection look like nothing, you know?
I love going through those
That's why I
tubs,
don't
though.
go there anymore.
Like I'm looking through it, and he shed tests a lot. Justin shed tests pretty much everything. And even a lot of the guys in Europe, like Prague, that guy Prague Walls, everything he
Yeah,
has is shed tested. Everything. Um. So as far as necessity, what is it? The higher the number, the less of
is
necessity.
yeah. So
I would give it an 8.
an 8. Okay, cool. I like that. I like the variability. Gives it a little bit more of like a guess as to where we're gonna end up as the morph score. As far as adult color contrast retention, I think we were touching on that earlier, but 1 or 0 being low, like it, doesn't look good, and 10 being it looks really good as an adult. We'll start with, I mean, anybody else? Does Big Mike or Jamie want to answer that question at all?
I mean, just after listening to the two of you gentlemen down there, it sounds like the adults hold their color really well.
Some
Um,
do.
some do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the contrast value to me,
Yeah.
it goes down as
Oh,
adult. Well, with what I've bred it to, anyways, I'm sure Jordan's bred to a lot more. And when his get older, you could have a better picture of how it's gonna go. But a lot of my stuff I bred to dark genes, and it kind of I lost contrast, although I gained color, if that makes sense.
mhm.
Um, like I don't know, something like that. I'd probably give it. What is it? The 10 is the better it looks as an
Best.
adult.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd probably give it a 7.
Okay. And I got your answer right, Jordan.
I said some. I've got a couple animals that just did not age very well with redhead, but that was really, like I mentioned before, the black pastel Batman. But I want to caveat that with, like, just because it doesn't look good as an adult doesn't mean, okay, like, I don't do that. Like, these animals are still genetically powerful, and
Right.
you can still leverage all of the genetics within those adults to, because you're not always going to hit all of them at once, but you could get all of that stuff in a pairing and make a bunch of really cool stuff. So don't just
Yeah.
discount the looks simply because of how it looks. Like, if it's a if it's a black pastel or redhead Batman, this that and that doesn't look good, it's still got all those genes in there. It's still a really good animal to leverage. But
You have to
that's
take it
those
and
those
pivot.
those animals did not age. I have a couple. I think black pastel redhead Batmans without red stripe. Red stripe really helped keep the maroon color, but the other ones just went completely brown and just are not. You'd open the tub and you'd be like, "What is this? This is not visually great." And you would, if I showed you a picture of it when in my photography booth when they're a baby compared to today, you'd be like, "Wow, that's not even the same animal." Um, so no on that, but other combos, especially with the lighter stuff, like I have a redhead Cypress adult clown, and you could just swear there's like fire and yellow belly and all. It's just a redhead Cypress clown. It's like you got to wear sunglasses to look at it, and it's a full adult. So
Yeah,
it depends what you put into it.
that's crazy. I'll definitely have to try to find a picture of that one, Redhead Cypress Clown. So where would you rank it about on that scale from 0 being low to 10 being really high as far as retention of color?
I'll say TBA or to be determined. Sorry, only
We'll
because
give it a 5 then average.
no, because five implies no good. I don't want to imply anything negative about it. I haven't gotten it across the shelf of all these different things that I wanted to do with it yet. It's
That's
very
fair. No,
localized
we'll
and very
just
specific.
There's so much to do with
avoid
it
the
still
question.
that it's
Yeah,
hard
I
to.
can't give you these answers if, like, I've only done like, oh, these 3 types of pairings, but there's 20 other animals that it's got to go to, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Let's see. The demand expectancy. Um, First, tell me the experience or what you're experiencing with demand of the mutation, if you have any experience of selling it already, and what you think of the mutation's demand going over the next 10 years. Do you think that demand's going to last another 3? Do you think it's going to just increase to where everybody's going to want this mutation in their projects for 10 years plus?
What are you going to?
Because it is a newer mutation. We'll go to you, Anthony.
So the man has definitely gone down in the last few years, just like with any other gene. Because the more people that have it, the lower the price goes, and but I think that there's so much more to do with it still. Like we've only done a very small amount, and there's a lot more to do with it. So I mean, I have a few animals that are up on Morph Market that are priced relatively high, but I did sell one not so long ago, about a week ago, and it was over $3,000. So I mean, there's the demand's there. I think in the future though, depending on what you pair with it, the redhead could do well, and if people start pairing it to stuff that makes it pop, especially, I think there'll be a lot more people interested in purchasing.
For sure. I think that it's going to increase its own demand and it's going to get better over the years. But I feel like, it's hard to judge the market right now with demand because, especially this past year, it's kind of fallen off a little bit. I mean, and not by any means across the board. I think just more so on these the more entry level animals and projects and stuff like that. I just don't see as much of that availability anymore. And then you see that kind of hurting these top end projects because everybody's having to hold on to a lot of triple hets for a long time at this higher value. And now you're seeing those prices come down in those projects. But it's all relative to where we were before COVID, really. I think nobody really reflects back to where we were prior to COVID. But it's been a good ride. It's been a fun ride as far as the whole crazy market climb and crash, and it's turning itself around just like it always does. I mean, I've watched this industry go through its own roller coasters, I think 6 times since the late 90s, 1999, 2000. And I think there was like 4 major market dips where everybody's talking about, oh, this market's gonna die. There's no future for this. Now it's like I can't even see the end because of all the crazy stuff we can create, you know?
Travis over here
So
busting my chops saying it's a 4.
I think I'll disagree with that. I think redhead is going to pick up. I think we live in a modern world of ball pythons today, especially with how the market's gone through this major correction, where a lot of people are still trend shopping and are not willing to do the Justin Kabilka proven method, which is take genes that are not as popular and create crazy things and make them become popular. And I think with what I've seen with Redhead, with a lot of the results this year, and Justin pushed it into. I bought my first male from him in 2023, and he hasn't shown much with it since because he goes through these different phases and cycles. But I think once people start seeing some of the results, especially some early results that I've seen, I think it's going to really pick up. Is it a gene like chocolate that you can just breed it to anything and it's going to look really awesome? No. And if you are very limited on space and you have a specific project direction, it may not work with what you like. Redhead is more of a gene that you actually have to think about where you put it and how it works. You can't just put it to anything. But if you're one of those guys that wants to take redhead in and do exactly that, be a mad scientist and put some really cool things into it, I think it could be a foundational animal for sure. And I think you know once we create the really nice animals that I've seen, the trend shoppers are going to come to us and start buying it because it's becoming trendy, right? It's just kind of like
yeah, yeah.
what have I observed overall. It's everybody's looking to see what the big guy tells us is great and are less willing to take a little bit of risks. And I just think redhead is one of those things that it's I think it's going to blow up. I think let's just put it this way, I'm very very pleased and very happy with what has come out of some of my early pairings. And it's not even that diverse. It's there's so many other things that I want to get into that I haven't done yet, and I think it's going to really just create some awesome stuff outside of what I've done. And you'll see during the show and tell. I've sent you a bunch of reels of some of the early stuff that I've shown, and I just think it looks great. So I think there's big potential there. I think if anybody wants to get into something and get on the ground floor and potentially have an opportunity to work with something that will provide them with like a collection defining gene, this could be it. This could be something that you bring in that is still being overlooked by the masses, and it could potentially work out really great for you in your favor.
That's a hot take right there, and it's a good one too. So definitely go out and check those prices because it's a morph that anybody can really add to their collection at any level because it's available too. I mean, I haven't checked in a while, but I feel like there's a good availability across different projects. Like there's the hypo redhead stuff, there's the clown redhead projects. I even seen some redhead het puzzle stuff recently, so I'm excited to see the redhead puzzle project get going.
Yep.
So one more question for this genetic appraisal thing here. Um, I just want to know on a scale from 0 to 10, what you think its complex genetic compatibility is. Do you think that it's going to be really awesome when you stack it really deep, or do you think it's going to kind of give you really a lot of variation to where, some things are going to be really good and some things are going to blow out? Or do you think it's like that really solid morph where across the board it's just going to be an additive?
I can take this if
Whoever
no
wants to
one else
go.
take it.
Good.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it depends. Again, it depends on what genes. Like, I'll give you a solid example. I just talked earlier about the redhead cypress clown that I made. Phenomenally looking animal, beautiful. But I also made a black pastel redhead red stripe cypress clown that didn't look that great, right? So it had the same foundation, and it just had a couple extra genes, and it didn't turn out really all that great. So, but there are other combos like that I've made that have multiple G's in it that look great. So it's just one of those things that it's not always going to work amazingly with a whole bunch of genes in it. Sometimes it will, but that actually could be a selling point because if you go through, like if you were here and I took you through my entire collection, some of my best looking animals, visually speaking, are some of the more simpler stuff. So I think we don't always need it like, if especially for newer people, if you are not in a position where you can do these 5 gene pairings 10 times a season with all this crazy stuff, and you're not at the absolute cutting edge, that's great, because redhead looks fantastic as a basic, more simpler version of itself, and you can create some really visually stunning animals just from a more simplicity stake. So I think that's a really good positive for anybody that wants to, like I said, get in and start fresh with something that's not mainstream out there.
And even as breeders of, the really higher end stuff, there's so many just simple combos, stacks that without recessives, any visual recessives that we just want to see. And we won't necessarily have the opportunity to hit a lot of those when we're pushing it into double recessives and triples and trying to work a lot of codoms into those projects, because it takes so many years to get them in those directions, or you have to buy in if you could find them. But I feel like and I've said it a few times, there's a big missing opportunity, and it would be filling more of I would feel, a pet grade market as far as the values. But if somebody out there was just breeding, and I know a few breeders that are kind of tinkering with that direction of just mixing incomplete dominance to try to get these new expressions that this nobody's seen before, because we might have just saw it for the first time in a puzzle, or the first time in a hypo clown, but nobody saw it on its own yet. And yeah, we need more people breeding for that stuff.
Yeah, I'm a fan of stacking genes. I like throwing, like you said, like those 3 to 3 or 4 gene stacked, male to a 4 gene stacked female, and producing something crazy, But with redhead, you don't need to do it a lot of times. You could, like, I made redhead fire clowns that were just beautiful
Gorgeous.
snakes,
Yeah.
So it's definitely a snake that somebody just getting into the game could make some beautiful things with, or somebody that's been in the game for a while and they just want to make some crazy stuff with. And I've been going both ways with it. I've bred it redhead clowns to just simple, you know, like I did breed it to a Cypress fire clown this year. But that's only a 2 gene, really a 2 gene with a recessive, you know, nothing crazy, but it can make some crazy looking snakes.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah, for
versatile.
sure.
It can work in high end collections. It can work in lower collections. It can work in pet grade. It can work in anything. Whatever spot an individual is on this just giant, what I call a pyramid, wherever you are,
Mhm.
redhead works. It just works. And that's a really good thing, because what happens is, especially some of the individuals that are lower on the pyramid, they may not necessarily have the resources available to go out and buy those 5 gene and those crazy combos, but it can be demotivating. So if you work with a gene like redhead, where you're making some really beautiful and exceptionally looking snakes on a more basic level, that is a strong motivator to push you and continue into work. So I think it's really good from that aspect of it. It's not one of those things where it's like you look at everybody else above you, like I do. I'm always looking at guys above me, and sometimes I get a little demotivated, and I'm sure everybody goes through that. But then when you have things like redhead, like some of the stuff that's popped out for me, that is not like my redhead combos, for the exception of a couple, are not as extravagant as Justin's, but they're really pretty snakes and they're really awesome things, and it's motivating me in my own collection to work it and not necessarily really worried about like guys like Justin who are just creating these absolute insane bangers that make my head spin.
Do you think people lack a lot of vision when it comes to the redhead morph and how to utilize it? And that's a main problem with it, and why people feel that it isn't doing enough, or whatever the case may be.
I think hot take. I think that's like a more like a general thing in the ball python industry. I think a lot of people are
Yep.
looking, I'm confident in saying this because I was in the same boat. You know, the first 3 or 4 years, I was very hyper focused on okay, like because I'm doing this for a living, I got to make a certain amount of revenue to keep the lights on and keep the rats fed and keep the animals going and pay the bills. Like I have to think about these things, and so I was very hyper focused on kind of just following proven models, and I'm so happy that I'm kind of broken out of that. But I think a lot of people just fall into this trap of just wanting to follow these proven concepts and are waiting and they're looking for the big guys to tell them this is the right way to
Where to
go.
go? Yep.
That's
And
great.
what they're not realizing is that the stuff that you buy from these guys, if they're selling you that, that's because they have adults on the shelf from 4 or 5 years ago that are way beyond that stuff. They don't need it. So by the time you breed that stuff, it's obsolete, right? So I think in
Yeah.
general, a lot of people lack creativity. And I listen, it's not a knock. It's hard. I'm struggling with it. It's hard to walk into a snake room and look at 300 females and 100 males and make a breeding plan. And you might be one of those guys that goes through and writes out a whole breeding plan. It's like, and now you're trying to execute it, and half the males don't want to breed those certain females that you wanted. Now you got to put other things in there
Yeah,
that
you
wasn't
could
what you
plan, it
wanted.
don't mean it work out.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's very difficult to manage that large of creativity by scale. So don't knock yourself if you can't do it as effectively as guys like Justin can. But I think we need. I think a lot of people just need to get away from this trend chasing and more of this. Okay, take these genes. Okay, we know that redhead works good like this. We know it works good with this. We know a lot of people don't have it in their collections yet. Let's get it in. Let's see what we can do, and let's try to differentiate ourselves and make something really cool. And that's where the value is going to come back to you, and that's where you're going to make better money overall than just simply being told that you need to buy this and breed it to that.
Carve your own lane.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's what I did last year too. I bred redhead to yellow belly puzzle stuff, and like just whole. I made a bunch of holdback stuff. Because a lot of people, you don't see any redhead puzzles or or stuff like that.
A
I mean,
puzzle could
and
be a
going to
big
these
one.
big
I'm so behind
collections.
on puzzle, and if I was strong in puzzle, that is one thing that I would 100% because there's a lot of pattern and flaming and stuff, especially with
Yeah.
yellow belly and redhead. And I think with I've seen the yellow belly puzzles and that kind of and the guy out in Europe that made the hurricane yellow belly hypo puzzle. I think you throw a redhead in there, it could be
Crazy.
absolutely just
Yeah.
wild, right? Like absolutely. So if you're strong in puzzle, which I'm not, unfortunately, that is like right there. Here's a secret tips coming out of this podcast. Get you on the ground floor. That's
Yeah.
that.
Just
For
do
sure.
Kryptons. That's the
Krypton.
clown puzzle right there.
Yeah.
Well,
So yeah,
let's
just
keep this
go ahead.
conversation. Let's keep this conversation going, but let's get Anthony to start showing us some snakes here. Let's
All right.
see the single gene redhead that you have, because
Let
I
me
know
figure
everybody's
this
been
out real
talking
quick.
about
Hold on a
that.
second. 3 settings.
Did I cut you off though, Jordan? Sorry.
No. I just
Let's see.
I'm just trying to get
Yep.
people to see the light that I saw this year, which is stop waiting for the big video to come out every couple of weeks on X guy's YouTube channel or half five guys YouTube channels. Like just go out there, get something like, for example, this redhead that is not being worked as heavily, that has already have a proven model behind it. And this is your chance. This is your chance to kind of work things and do things that's different, that's not out there, and create some animals that have some good long-term value in it.
Yeah,
One of those
find your
mutations.
gene. Find your gene and chase it.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
One of the genes that I like, one of the morphs that I like, I had some before, but I had pushed back on the project because I didn't have it in anything recessive was the adder, and I pushed back on it, but then I was able to get in with the new sponsor right here to my right, Ectothermic Dungeon. He produced the adder het puzzles, so I'm excited to take that into the puzzle direction. I got a female, so let's see what Anthony's got here.
That's dope. That's a nice snake.
Damn.
How can you not like that?
See, I sent him a picture of one of the two redheaded clowns I made this year, and completely different. It's so variable. So variable.
While you're showing these snakes, I'm gonna bounce out, try to get those loaded in. So you guys talk snakes while he shows them off real quick.
Gotcha.
Well, take your time.
Like it's so, and this is the great thing is that the variability in it. It's fantastic.
Is that keyholing on the dorsal generally what happens?
I've never seen a redhead like that personally. That's the first
yeah,
redhead
that looks-
clown.
Anthony, is that just a redheaded clown? I don't know if you can hear us. What you got there, Anthony?
Yeah, it's a strange one. I've never
You
seen.
should be able to hear us.
Yeah. I love the keyholing in it and the way it's like going over the dorsal, some of it, and breaking it up.
Let me see. I'm gonna ask him to unmute. I muted him, and I'm asking him to unmute to see if that works. Unmute if you can hear me, Anthony. No, it doesn't say he's muted.
I would see if I
trouble.
hatched that snake out of my collection, I would call that a low expression redhead. I think that some of them can get way wilder than that.
Really?
Yeah, you'll see. Like I sent you one. You'd almost think there was something else at play, but it's just a basic redhead.
So the morph is really polygenic. Then it just
There's a lot of variability. Absolutely, yeah.
and that's a great factor in itself to have that in a morph.
But he's got a good example too because you can see it. Like as a redheaded clown, you can tell it's brighter. It's got that. It's being elevated a little bit in terms of its brightness. The pattern is nice. It's got that classic, dark, or not dark, but like just kind of like solid head. So yeah, it's still a really classic example.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you. We couldn't hear you before.
You can't hear me when I put the camera on the other way.
Is that just a straight redhead, Anthony?
Just a straight redhead clown to clown.
That's crazy the way it broke up the dorsal like that, man.
Yeah.
Give me a paper towel. But yeah, that's that. Yeah. Hold on a second.
No worries.
And then I'll show you one of these.
Someone go to the bathroom?
Yep. All over the place. So this
fire, huh? I love what fire does in it. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great example.
And this was a.
People sleep on fire so much, man.
Yeah, it's a redhead, yellow belly fire.
That is beautiful.
Clown.
Wow, so vibrant.
Picture that in paint. A paint clown redhead. Bananas.
That was a redhead fire. And then I got let's see. I got another one here. It's in shed, but it's a Enchi yellow belly redhead clown. But it's in shed.
It didn't really reduce it as bad as I thought it would.
That is gorgeous, yeah.
You would say is the Enchi raising the sides like that? Like
Yeah,
solid yellow?
I think so. And it kind of reduced a little bit of the pattern.
That belly is white too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the white
That's a
came up the
beautiful
sides.
snake right there. That's a beautiful snake.
It's kind of awkward when it's camera view, but it's the only way you can hear me.
It's all good.
No, the snake looks great, dude.
I love it. Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's that. Let's see what else I got here. I got one more redhead I took out, and
I wish
it's
I had that problem that I could just show off a bunch of redheads. Like, yeah, that's that.
and this is a black pastel redhead clown.
Yep. Classic brown pattern
See, I
down.
don't like that one. No offense. I,
But see what it does.
yeah,
I
it's just
told you
like
it browns it out, and it
yeah.
kind of changed the pattern. As a baby, it didn't look like this. As it
Hmm.
got older, it browned out.
Black pastel does that in bongo too. It completely just kills it. It's like
Yep.
I don't get it.
But see what it does. This is an adult, so
But if you add red stripe to that, it doesn't allow it to brown out. It stays maroon and really nice deep red.
so
You said you
those
had one,
are the
Jordan,
only
right?
redheads. I had a few more, but one of them was deep in shed, so I wasn't gonna bother bringing that out. And that was it for the redhead that I brought out. But as far as snakes that I'm gonna breed it to for next year for redhead, I just brought out two males that I'm gonna throw into the redhead project. This is in shed, and it just looks like a regular normal, right?
Oh yeah.
But it's a bambino.
Redheads don't look like a
Oh,
Some
normal.
granite, yeah, that's
now
some
he's
granite.
acting up.
Normal.
He's
No,
acting up
that's
now.
sick. When did you pick up the Bambino? Just recently on that
Yeah, I picked it
shipment?
up like 2 or 3 months ago. Now he's had hypo.
Hell yeah, nice
Oh
pickup.
man,
He's like 350 grams now, so he eats good. But yeah, that next year
Bambino and
he'll be seeing a
redhead, I
few
think that's gonna
combo
work.
redhead clowns, or you know, I don't know, decide what I'm gonna do with him. And then I have another snake I'm gonna breed to him. It's a clown, but it's also het DG. And this, you know what? I have when I pulled it out, I didn't read the label, but it's like a confusion combo, but it
that's
has like maybe
crazy.
6 genes in it.
That pattern is ridiculous.
Ooh. Oh,
Oh shoot, sorry.
the image go away.
I didn't mean to make it pop up.
I'm assuming you
Hold
got all
on
my
here.
my content.
Back.
So
There we
that's a
go. Sorry
confusion
about that.
combo,
I'm
This
over
is
Anthony.
here
a
trying to
confusion
upload.
combo. Yeah, it has like a 6 or 7 genes in it. I have to check. It's also had DG,
That's crazy. That's a beautiful snake.
but that's just 2 examples of what I'm gonna do for next year. Um, and then there's other stuff I'm gonna do with it. Like I got the puzzles, the head puzzle versions. I'm gonna breed it to. I have about 20 female adult puzzles, so I'm gonna try and see what I could do with that. And then we'll take it from there. I just picked up a snake from Prague, with hypo in it, puzzle hypo, and it had like 4 different I think it was like a hurricane, spot nose, special, puzzle hypo.
Oof.
Um, so
Nice.
working it out. I'm gonna work it as much as I can. Try and go a little bit different direction than a lot of people are going.
You got to
And
make New York proud, bro.
that's it.
So I got
I also have Cosmos. I mean,
so
I
I
don't know
was
if I'm
able
gonna throw
to
Cosmos into it, especially. I mean, with all the recent stuff that's coming out with Cosmos, I'm kind of like a little concerned, but hopefully it works itself out.
yeah,
And then I
just
have
seems to be
Tornado as
another
well.
extra granite mutation kind of floating in
They're
there,
saying that it's
increasing its
2 genes, not
expression is what
one
it looks
now.
like.
Yeah, white
But
Yeah,
flame.
from the video with Justin, it looked like a classic granite was attaching itself to it.
Brad's made a bunch of nice ones. Brad Boa, some beautiful ones, and I'm breeding him this year, so I'm looking forward to see what I get out of that. And then I also have Tornado. Um, Tornado
Okay.
stuff won't be ready for like another year to
I'd call
breed.
that the trifecta: Cosmos, Bambino, and Tornado.
Yeah, so gonna try and work a
Get the
couple of
compare
nice
and
little projects on
contrast.
them, but Redhead will be in the mix on those, eventually, because a lot of the stuff I bought were males. So, and I have so many Redhead females that'll be ready next year.
Heck yeah. I couldn't do videos, Jordan, but I took some screenshots and I cropped them down to where they could upload at the right
Yep.
storage size. So I'm
You
gonna
can't
pull
share
them
your
up,
screen.
and I don't know which one's which. You're just gonna have to tell us about it.
You
Let's
can't share
see.
your screen.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
there's
so
that one there.
that one's deceiving. Unfortunately, the lighting in my facility, they're 4000K, so it really makes certain snakes look more yellow and orange than they appear. That snake is a
Okay.
lot brighter. That snake is a lot brighter and more orange, sorry, in person. But it's got that crazy pattern, and I know for sure it's a redhead, spot nose, possible yellow belly. There was OD in the pairing. There was black pastel. There was red stripe. I think it could be red stripe too. It's just got a really wicked kind of. This is one of those I sent that to Justin too, and I got no answer. He didn't really know either.
It's
So
nice.
yeah,
This pattern is wild.
it looks. I'm actually glad that I posted it looking like that because it's just so much better in person. But yeah, it's a really nice combo that I'm still trying to figure
The
out.
oranges and stuff.
Yeah, like it's got that elevated brightness to it. Actually, in person, it's pretty bright, but it's also got this crazy pattern. I love the neck. Like the neck, it's got those really elongated kind of stretched out ovals are going down the neck. It's just such a really that is classic. What I want. I want brightening, but I also want pattern and mutation, and that was one of
I
the
really love this area right there in the center of the screen where it's like two stripes down the side of that orange burning stripe in the center. Like it's almost like from the head back, the next stripe is just the burnt blushing, and then that center burnt blushing stripe, if you look back at the second curve, turns to pattern, to a solid pattern.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, I
Is
should
that
have sent you the picture that I did for that one under the photo shoot. It's a much better representation.
the typical head stamp you were talking about with the spotting on
Yeah,
it?
that's a pretty classic. Well, with leopard and spot nose, it's pretty classic. Yeah, even with just spot
Okay.
nose.
Oh,
And tell me
nice.
the genetics of this one more time.
I don't know if it's too late or not, but I'll send you the actual like proper photo of it under proper lighting if that's something that you want to pull up. If not, it's okay. But it's a much better representation of what the animal looks like with a proper, very nice camera that I use.
Yeah,
Um,
there was
Okay.
that spotting again.
that
Tell
one
us
is
about this animal.
that one is a black pastel redhead red stripe hurricane Batman.
Nice.
So one of the ones I sent you was without hurricane, and the hurricane just added all this like really extra crazy like circles and those spots everywhere. Whereas the traditional black pastel redhead red stripe Batman is more like a little bit less pattern and more like a solid maroon color. This is a bit older too. Like I think the snake around 700 grams there or 600
Yeah,
grams. And it's still
definitely.
holding on to it. That snake today as an adult is still one of the best looking ones I made 3 years ago. It's that snake now is like 2,500 grams, pushing 2,500 grams, and it has not browned out at all. It is like deep red.
That's awesome.
They were asking earlier in the comments about Redhead and Hurricane, so there you go.
Well, that one is a stacked one. I think you tone back a little bit, like take leopard out, add yellow belly, add
Yeah.
special, add OD, those kind of genes. It's with hurricane, it's going to be phenomenal with hurricane.
If you do the comparison, though, this does give you a really good expression of that Redhead because it really does turn this combo up very
Yeah,
well.
yeah, exactly. Um,
And then I'll go
yeah,
on
you.
to the next one.
Yep.
Oof.
These two are crazy.
Yeah. So the one to the right is that's just a classic redhead spot nose yellow belly clown.
It's just,
Um, just
just.
that, and look at like
Yeah, that interaction of the Redhead spot nose is insane. It looks almost Pompeii.
Yeah.
yeah, it's phenomenal. And then the other one beside it, I'm still trying. I think it's an ODYB redhead, red stripe, uh, leopard spot nose clown. It could be everything except for black pastel. I think What did I
That's
Man,
bring?
my
I
It could
can
favorite
be
feel.
one.
I
fire
feel the
too.
black pastels in there too,
It
but
could
I
be
see
yeah,
the
it could be
leopard,
fire too. Yeah, it could be a
red
7 gene
stripe,
animal. It could be
fire.
anything.
That could be crazy, man.
And that's a
Town animal.
terrible shot too. I should have sent you the actual
Wow.
photo shoots of these snakes. Like that snake under my photography lights, like it's just it's insane. Like it's that is my favorite one of the season, and I sent you a picture of my second favorite of the season. If you want to pull that up
Okay.
later, or whatever.
I have a clutch picture here. While you walk us through this clutch picture, I'm gonna dip again. I'm gonna go do the same thing. It'll take me like 5 minutes. So
I
go
sent you
ahead
the
and
actual
walk.
picture of this one, so it should be easy for you.
Oh, okay, cool. So go ahead and walk us through this one here, and I'll go through that.
Yeah, so that one, it's actually funny that I call that the shark. That was the only clutch I've ever hatched in 7 years that half the animals had shark
Oh,
mouth.
hold on.
Oh, that
Um,
sucks.
well, it's
Yeah.
it's funny. They all survived, and I've got
Oh, did they?
two of them. I got two of them here with me. They're smashing food, and they eat funny, but they're just big animals. They're gonna be great breeders.
Wow.
Yeah, there you
Um,
go.
All right, there you
but
go. I'll be
the
right back.
bottom the bottom two and then the very top one were the ones that I had confirmed redhead in them. And it's got OD, it's got YB, it's got, I think that one had vanilla in it too. The bottom one there was vanilla, so it kind of gives you like an idea that the redhead has this like really nice maroon kind of color tone that it brings out in a lot of the combos that I'm seeing. And what's great is like a lot of ball pythons will brown out as they age and fade. The redhead helps preserve, if you got the right genes in there, it preserves the snakes like more of like that maroonish color. Like I still have the very bottom one there to the left. That's a male, and I have the very top one, which is a female. And as adults, actually, the one on the bottom there as an adult looks better. It's even better than it ever was.
What's the one on the top right hand corner? It looks like it's next to an enchi, the two enchis.
There was no entry in the pairing, but I think,
Damn.
yeah.
Really? Wow, what reduced them like that?
Actually, no, yeah, sorry. This one was entry. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, my bad. This one was like a while ago, so I don't remember the pairing. But
Oh
yeah,
no,
there
no
was entry.
worries.
You're
The
right.
the brownish looking one with the brownish head, that the pattern looks ridiculous on that. And if you that orange going into the brown, is that redhead? Was that ID as redhead as well?
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember. This clutch was quite a while ago, but the only three that I remember off the top of my head that I confirmed as redhead were the two bottom ones and the very top one.
Oh wow. I like that snake. That pattern looks crazy.
The best one is by far the bottom left one. That snake is just like, I mean, it's electric as an adult. It's a male. Obviously, the males hold better color long term than the females do because they don't get as big. But it's still it's a. I mean, that's going to be one of my main breeders this year, going around to a lot of different combos with his shark mouth. But he's an aggressive eater. Love him.
Nickname him Jaws.
Yeah, yeah. So that's just kind of like to give a little bit of context to the brightening genes. I wouldn't even say those are my favorite combos. I mean, if he goes on to the next photos, you'll see some of my favorite combos. I gotta send him this
I'm
one too.
almost done loading some of these up.
I got one
Tell
more
me,
for you while you're there.
tell me what the combo is in the back right corner. I know you probably explained it, but I was just busy. The darker black pastel clown looking one. Is that
That
just
was just
black
a black
pastel redhead clown,
pastel.
or
No, that was just a black pastel red stripe yellow belly clown.
Damn.
okay? I'm gonna show you this one here.
I sent you one more. If you have time to pull that one up, that one's a really nice one too.
I don't know what the fuck.
I have so much
Close.
redhead this year. I
Hold
can't
on.
wait to start showing all of it. I think I'm just so pleased with what it's.
Ah,
All right. So that's that one.
that's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that's the one. Like
Nice.
proper lighting, proper lit. Like that snake is just. It's my second favorite so far. It's got the pattern. It's got the brightness. It's got the what's going on with the neck there. It's got the classic. Like that's what I call a classic redhead head. Like every combo with
Yeah.
spot nose and leopard and like red stripe, it's these classic heads, just like just a little dot there in the middle at the back, your little spot nose triangle there going down in between the eyes, but everything else is just kind of solid.
Hmm.
That pattern
I
is
really love how it pushes all of like the width of the alien heads up and keeps like the legs real skinny, and it almost creates like a tree effect in that sense.
Yeah, and
Like
I'm
every
I'm still
little
not even
drop
sure.
down.
Like I know it's yellow belly, I know it's spot nose, I know it's red stripe. But I don't like it could be a lot of. There were so many genes in that pairing. It's just very difficult.
It's a beautiful animal, that's for sure. Let's see this one here.
That was one of the original redhead bananas that I made. It's just redhead banana clown.
oof.
Get this zoomed up here so we can really see it.
And what's
Did
interesting
it
is
zoom for everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good.
Cool.
that snake has gotten like a lot more rich and red, and it hasn't faded. Like, yeah, all bananas fade, but it's retained color much better so far. My best bananas that have retained color have been anything with stranger and redhead.
Look
So
at that neck
I'm gonna
stripe.
put I'm gonna put those two together next year and see what we can do with the leopard stranger redhead banana clown. I think that would be a really freaking insane animal.
That is an incredible banana, and banana has been impressing me a lot more lately. It's one of those mutations that took me a while. Like it was impactful when it first came around. I was like, "Whoa, that's insane! No one's ever seen a ball python like that before." Once I found out it got the speckles, I was like, that lost
Were
my
you
interest
able
when at that
to Yeah,
time.
were you able to clip the other?
But
'Cause you didn't even show off the lace one.
no, I got a couple more in here. Let's see here. But yeah, once it took time to get the freckles to grow on me, and now I like it more. Let's see, what's this one here?
So that's just a redhead yellow belly clown. That's all that's in that
Wow.
snake. And you can see, like, if you take what Anthony showed, which is his redhead clown, and you only put yellow belly, look at the huge difference. I mean, this is like monumentally different.
You get
Mm-hmm.
a lot more
Yep.
pixelation inside those keyholes, breaking up inside the alien heads. A lot more of that pixelation through the dorsal stripe as well. And it shrunk up the dorsal stripe more so.
Yeah, and I
Kind of
have
thinned it out.
I still have both those snakes. Are both females. I'm actually going to sell one of them because I held them back because they were either yellow belly or asphalt, and I wanted them to be asphalt, but they both tested for yellow belly. So I have one of those
Huh.
girls is around, like, I think she's around like 700, 800 grams now. So she'll become available. But yeah, that's a classic. Like, just like that's what I was saying. Like, just redhead doesn't need to be complicated to be great. That snake to me, that's not
Yeah.
going to brown out. A lot of these redheads with like this have retained really good color. They've retained great pattern. They look great as adults, and that's just something simple that you can have on the shelf and be proud of. It doesn't need to be, a banger.
And And that's
Yep.
a perfect example. If I can get this to zoom in, I would say that's a good example of that redhead head stamp with like the dots and everything, like you were saying, kind of on the
Yep,
nose and behind the head and at the neck. But it's more so like you kind of get that faint dark pattern kind of wrapping around that orange in the center.
exactly.
Have you done any confusion redhead
Interesting.
stuff or no?
No,
Yeah,
I
shrink
stay
that
away
one
from
up.
confusion. It's
Do you?
something that I got rid of completely, entirely, except for
Really?
two animals, and that's it. I love it. I don't get me wrong. I love it. I love what it does. Confusions, it does, but it's too. In my experience with what I've been sold, it's just a gene that just does not thrive, and I have so much limited space. So I think one of the biggest flaws in the reptile industry as a whole is, especially with some of these larger producers, is they're just mass producing so many combos, and their only focus is genetic quality, not bloodline lineage quality. So what you end up getting is you get a lot of these weaker animals that are proliferating through collections that are being kept and bred no matter how long it takes because of what they contain genetically. But from a bloodline standpoint, picky feeders, they don't thrive very well, don't get very big, might have a bad production, low clutches. A smaller guy like me who doesn't have room for 1,000 animals, every tub needs to be a big strong, thick, healthy female that grows monstrous, that is just like produces great year over year, rebounds. Like I'm trying to leverage my collection to not only be good genetically, but also be good from an actual animal bloodline standpoint. And in the 6 years I've been selling snakes, I'm proud to say that I've only had one customer ever come back to me saying that the animal I sold them wasn't a great eater. And I think it's because I'm trying to push these big honking like massive animals, and I'm doing both focus. So confusion for me, I don't think necessarily itself is a bad gene. I just think it's been bred to a lot of like weaker stock overall,
Mhm.
and that like I bought the very first, I think, Confusion Clown that Justin ever sold. I paid $8,500 US for it. It died, a year and a half later. It just wouldn't eat. Ended
Wow.
up starving
Damn.
itself. I've tried to acquire more. I had three three non het or visual recessive confusions. Only one of them actually made it to adulthood and bred. And I've tried holding back some of its offspring, and I think only one or two um, did well. So I'll caveat that one of the original confusions that I produced that actually did turn out to be a really good feeder, a good breeder. I bred that to some of my biggest, strongest pieds. And I'm happy to say that all of the holdbacks I've held back from that pairing, combo pies, are doing really well. So I think that's a secret. I think we got to take some of these.
You can breed for
We
the habits.
Yeah, we got to breed. It's. I tell everybody the same thing. If LeBron James is not having a child that's 5'5", right? It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
Your genetics are at play in that regard, and I think we need to start bringing back some of these genes,
for
like
sure.
confusion, that is just out there in a lot of weak stock that people are paying lots of money for that are not really doing well. The ones that do well, we need to get those animals back to like
Yeah.
big, healthy,
And that's
healthy
like where
snakes.
back in the day the Voltas were coming out of Africa and they were the biggest, female sub-Saharans and everything, and everybody wanted those because they wanted that genetics, the
Mhm.
bloodlines of that size and that feeding response, because they were mean feeding females that got freaking 6,000 grams. So who wouldn't want a female like that to inject into these genetics that we've depleted more or less over all the time that we're
Yeah,
inbreeding and
the best
inbreeding.
example I can give you is I don't know if he's the biggest male in the world, but I have a DG clown that I bought in 2019. He's almost 4,000 grams.
God damn.
This thing, and for 2 years straight, he bred over 40 times. He was my starter male in all my DG projects. He's never stopped eating. He'll breed every single week, 52 weeks a year, nonstop, and eat every single week. And he's just a huge snake. And he is the original father to all of my chocolate DG clown stuff and all the hets that produce those animals. He bred to a female pastel chocolate DG hypo. Those were the two snakes that created all the heads that made what I have today. She was also over 4,000 grams. Those
Yeah.
are two massive animals. Every single female that has come out from those two original snakes, bred in 18 months, they're all pushing 3, 4, 4,500 grams. They're breeding every single year for me. They're monstrous animals. And the chocolate that I got into it is proliferated in that strong stock. And I'm people will call BS on that. And I'm like, whatever, you can believe what you want. I have proof in the pudding. I have two of the biggest animals I have ever owned have created some of the strongest stock in my collection in terms of breed ability,
Genetics.
in terms of eating habits, and that's what I want to get back to. I want that to be every tub. I want every tub to be a big snake, a strong snake, good eater. No joke. I'll send you text messages after. I sold one of females that I don't need anymore, and I told the guy, I said, do not feed her every week. She will get obese. She never
Yeah.
stops eating. You have to hold back on her. She's huge. She'll become a tub of sausage. So that's
Mhm.
so I'm just trying to like reinforce what I'm saying with the confusion. It is possible to accomplish that. You just have to do it. You have to hold
Yeah.
back your best, strongest stock.
Do you
More
think obese?
selective eating.
Go ahead, Jamie. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I was just saying that I completely agree with that 110%. And having breeders be more selective. with their breeding and what they choose for health as well as traits.
Yeah,
Do you
and I know firsthand, 40% of all the original stock I bought never amounted to anything. I bought the very first Suma pie that ever got sold. It was one of the most expensive snakes. One of the first most expensive snakes I bought. I paid $8,500 US for it. It's still 700 grams in my tub 6 years later, not doing well. It's and I have so many snakes like that, and it's like it's not necessarily
Mm.
because of the gene. It's just when you have a facility of 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 animals, you're focused on is extracting genetics. You're not
Mm.
necessarily focused on trying to create these strong bloodlines with it, right? You keeping back whatever. And when you have 300, 400, 500, or some guys are doing 800 clutches a year, you don't even care because you can hold back 30 of everything, and one of them will turn out to be okay, and you'll just sell off all the rest, right? But that doesn't
Yeah,
work for guys like us who have small collections. We don't have that ability to produce such a large quantity that one of them is bound to be a good animal.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we want the very few animals that we do produce to all turn out to be solid and great.
Yeah.
This comment plays into what I was going to say next, too. Eric B says, everyone that keeps their males small because big males are bad breeders. Take note on what you said, Jason, about your 4,000 gram breeders there. And I was just going to also comment on that and say, I truthfully believe that there is a bad tendency in our industry to keep males small because of space.
Yeah, I
And
don't do it. It's BS.
truthfully, I think that the animals that breed less prolifically, less consistently, and eat less consistently are males that haven't been raised properly. They haven't been raised the same as the females that you're raising in your tubs. And it's not across the board. I'm not saying that, but I think a majority of them have issues because they're not fed the same. A lot of people pound a female with two meals, and oh, this male he didn't eat. Not gonna try again.
That's
And males do
exactly
go
what
off of food, but you get them up to size and you get them good size before they're ready to breed, and you don't have those
I don't know
issues
where
with
that
loss of
started. Like
weight.
I have no idea where that started because that's how I was taught when I came into the industry is keep your males smaller, they're better breeders. And I'm like, now that I look at it, all of my small males are so inconsistent and
They're so
so
bad, yeah,
frustrating. The top
and they
two
go off food way more often too.
yeah, the top two rows on my rack, they have my biggest males in them, and those eight males, I haven't three of them I haven't even used in 3 years. I don't even know why I still have them. They're just such good genetic snakes. I just never want to sell them. But the reason why the males stay small is because we're constantly breeding them every single year, and we're constantly pushing them. And the moment they
Yeah.
start, the moment they go off food, we stop breeding them. And then once they had two meals in them, okay, they're good again. Let's breed them again. Then they go off food again. If you actually let a male do his thing for a season, and then you just let him be for a year or two, eventually they start eating. They grow. All my big males are pushing. He's my biggest, the 4,000 one, but the others are over 2,500 grams.
Yeah, and I feel like, the industry's speed is what really curves that mentality of I want to breed a male as small as I can so that I can push this project before the next
That's
guy
all.
with
That's
the
going back
with
to
the
what I
other
was saying.
male. And that's where it all trickled down, but it's come to a keeper level where people are telling keepers this now, and it's just unhealthy for the animals in the long run. And as bigger breeders, and even just not even bigger breeders, but more niche collective breeders who are pushing that bar and that ceiling, even those guys aren't doing it in that same way. Those guys are pounding the males with food to get them up to 800 grams, 1,000 grams, as big as they
I,
can in that
I
first
feed
year,
mine like I feed
typically.
my females. Like if you want
Yeah.
to eat two or three in a breeding season, go
You
for it.
ask,
Eat.
yeah, you ask a breeder who's trying to push the bar, and he's not trying to keep the male small. Technically, a male could stay
Exactly.
small because he breeds young and he goes off of food young, and then he doesn't pick up, and then somebody keeps breeding him, overbreeds him. He never actually gains the size, becomes a bad breeder after the first 2 seasons, and then they kick him to the curb, and somebody else buys him. He's a problem eater, a problem breeder, and that's kind of what you see in situations nowadays.
do
Yeah,
you
exactly.
do you food cycle with the larger females? Because it has been said that when they're way too large, that they give you smaller clutches.
See,
Um,
I've experienced the complete opposite. The bigger the female, the more eggs I'm getting. My
That's
Do you
usually what
think
I
that this is true?
do.
my third biggest female, which is she's just a straight DG clown. She gave me 16 eggs this year. I actually made a post about it.
oh wow,
Unfortunately, 10 of them were infertiles, but there were 16 eggs there.
yeah,
Right,
okay,
like that. Like I think I don't know. I think small young females can do really well too. But I don't think I've ever gotten a 10 egg clutch. Now, again, my sample size is a lot smaller than guys like, the Will Bankses and the DeMeyers who have,
right.
snakes coming out their ass for years. Um, but in my small sample size, I have never received a 10 egg clutch from a female that's, under 2,000 grams. It's never happened.
Gotcha.
What curious, what is the size? Are you willing to let us know how many snakes do you have? Because I think that's all relative too, depending on who's talking. Because like for the longest time, I thought I had a very small collection, and then I would talk to people, and they're like, "Well, wait," and like depending on who you talk to,
I guess that's
And
a
you're
matter of
like, holy shit, I
perception.
have a huge collection.
I
I
really
have
don't.
Going into 2026, I will have 288 adult breedable females, and I've expanded an extra level on racks. I will top out somewhere around 320 females. Where I have a lot of problems is my male count. I'm still sitting around 44 males, which is way too little.
Yeah.
Which is okay because in today's market, this is not the market I want to be producing 200 clutches, 100 clutches,
For
right?
sure. Yeah, no.
I ended the year this year with 33, and it's a perfect number. And I'm going to make some, even in suppressed values, I'm going to make a decent, it's not what I'm used to, but it's good enough to keep the family happy, keep the rodents fed, keep the collection going, and put a little bit of money in the
Yeah.
bank.
That's what it's
And
about.
that's
Yep.
But
where I'm
never
at.
stop breeding.
Exactly. So that to me,
The
it's not,
animals.
I guess that's not a small collection. Like, and I view that as a small collection only because of, you know,
Seeing
who I,
Justin's and all the bigger.
It's larger than average.
yeah. So I guess that's just my bad. That's bad perception on my
You
part.
got the pause gang in the chat's probably going wild.
But I also judge a collection size based on output too, right? Like
Power too.
I'm only doing my biggest season was 2023, 2024, and it was 54 clutches, but I had 2 incubator malfunctions, and I only like 12 or 13 clutches survived.
Wow.
It was absolutely devastating. Um,
Damn.
but outside of that year, I've been floating around the 30 range like every year, and to me, 30 clutches is not a very big number, especially when you factor in like how fast things are moving, especially now with shed testing. Like you're just
Yeah.
removing all guesswork, so people are like, it's hard to comprehend just how fast people can move through projects today. I feel like if you're just doing 30 clutches, if your goal is to be at the cutting edge, you can't do it with a small number like that. You just maybe in one or two projects, but not across
Yeah.
a lot of things. So that
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
just starting out investing into many different directions. I'm starting out with like 80 different animals that are just my foundation of investment. And those 80 animals are going to be taking me into many different project directions that are going to combine with time. But a few of them are going to be,
Yeah, and
directed
one of
in their own right. But
probably the biggest piece of advice I could ever give, because I'm actually taking this out of the green tree python playbook from the animals behind me.
oh, yeah.
When green tree python breeders, when people buy those snakes, they want to see charts. They want to know about the female
Hmm.
and the males. They want to know about the grandparents. They want to know
I'm
all this
all into
information.
them.
This stuff is like nobody cares about that in ball pythons. Nobody asks for parents
Yeah.
information. Nobody asks for grandparents. I think if you're a new breeder, I've lost so much money. It's not even a joke. Like this is real talk. I've lost so much money just willy nilly buying everything. 40% of all the original purchases I've ever made never bred, never did anything, or shitty eaters, just really bad snakes. If you are not willing to grow to a huge size and you want to keep a small, powerful, and fun collection, ask those questions. Ask how big is the female? How big is the male? Let me see the pictures on the scale. if you can see the grandparents, I'll give you an example. I have a chocolate DG clown head hypo on Morph Market right now, a male, and I'm asking a lot for it. It's a premium price. I will admit it. It's a lot, but you're getting a snake from those two monstrous animals with proven record over the last 5 years of everything that has been produced from that bloodline being huge, big clutches, strong eaters. It's all and a high percentage of what I call high expression. Like sometimes you'll buy a gene and you'll make a variety like, oh, this looks really good, but this is definitely that gene, but it's not as nice as this one. And you'll get like some diversity there. These animals from this stock has been producing a lot of really good looking chocolates, high expression. And so I'm charging a premium because I value that. And I think anybody should be willing to spend a little bit more money if they can buy the genes that they want from big, strong, healthy, proven snakes that have good, you got to trust the breeder is going to give you the right information about that too. But yeah,
Yeah,
don't just
for
buy
sure.
don't just go out and say, well, I don't want to buy that. That's too expensive. I want to buy it from this guy because he's got one. It's $1,000 cheaper. Okay. But my female made that snake in 18 months. His took 4.5 years to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Yeah.
that $1,000 is better spent on the one that's going to, I'm not saying power feed it and get it to breed in 18 months. What I'm saying is if it has the ability to eat well and be a good, strong snake, pay a little bit more and get something from a strong bloodline, and don't fall into that trap that I did where it's like you're looking at almost half your room after 4 years and you're like, am I ever going to recoup on any of this stuff? Like this sucks. Right?
Yeah, and and what I was getting at too is like with my foundation of 80 snakes, just as a foundation, so to say. If you're starting off like that and you're trying to take a lot of these different directions and paths like I am, and they're gonna mold together, obviously, but you say I have 8 different directions, which are very strong directions, but some of them are more to play with. And then I have my main ones. But out of those 80 animals, if 40 of the females average 6 eggs in one season, that's 240 babies that I'm choosing holdbacks out of. And I'm breeding every single animal, every single pairing for holdbacks because I need that foundation to now produce building blocks, and then from those building blocks produce hopefully visual building blocks and stronger double, triple, whatever it is, homozygous, ALS. I have a lot of different directions, but my point is that 80 is going to grow to that 300 in 2 seasons very easily if you're not selective about what you're holding back and what you're keeping on to. But you have to be more so selective about what you're even pairing because nowadays, even especially right now, the markets are taking the biggest hit when people are just overproducing for a direction they're trying to hit. If I'm trying to hit a triple and I'm producing 10 or breeding 10 females to try to hit that triple, that's why all these, triple het byproducts are losing value now because there's just so much of it and it's not moving. But
That's just a negative downside of our industry as a whole because
yeah,
I made a Pompeii double head DGG stripe male this year. I've been trying to make that snake for 2 years now, and it took 5 clutches to hit it. 5 clutches. I bred that red stripe yellow DGG stripe clown to black patel spot nosed clown type animals, whether it's just those genes or extra genes. 5 clutches this year, and I think there was like 3 clutches last. So that's 8 clutches to hit it. So that's just a product of our industry. Is sometimes these odds are so bad, you
for
have to do
real.
these massive numbers to get it. And
30 clutches is a good number.
yeah, 30 clutches has been great for me.
Yeah.
I could not handle more on my own. If I had help, and that's the problem. I'm not generating enough revenue. I'll be honest, in today's market to even be able to afford to pay a salary for somebody. The market is not commanding enough value out of the projects anymore for that. So, for however long I can only do this by myself, 30 clutches is like the absolute cap. Especially if you're a single guy, maybe you could do more. But I got I got a 5-year-old now that has more energy than I even remember having.
I know. I wish I had my kids' energy nowadays. I'm like, damn, I wish I was 9.
Yeah, so if you're a solo dude, all I could say is and that's what I'm saying. Like if you're gonna do 30 clutches and you want to stay relatively small or 10 or 20 clutches, try to put a little bit more emphasis on the quality of the bloodline, not just the genetic itself, because it's like, you ever heard the expression 100% of nothing is still nothing?
Yep.
You could go out and buy a $10,000 snake tomorrow from the world's best breeder, and it could be the most insane. If that thing never breeds for you, or it takes 5 years to grow, you got nothing for it,
Yeah.
right?
Or you go
So,
out and buy the, most expensive, like Orange
new
Dream,
gene on the
Hypo,
market.
Red Stripe, something else with, you just add up a bunch, you just put together a big combination of mutations that have high variability of quality and say, like, okay, this 7 gene animal is $8,000, but you buy it and you breed it to something and you find out every single component that made that animal was the trashiest quality of its kind. So now you're producing a bunch of trash from that $8,000 animal because it was the lowest quality of every mutation
You
combined.
got to think ahead too, because it's like you said, you just talked about how, like, you're going through this holdbacks, you're growing your collection, you're trying to hold back the best animals. If you have the money and you go out and buy this really expensive animal, okay, let's say it's a male and it's like, it breeds, but it didn't get very big, it's spotty eater at best, whatever. Don't breed it to your weakest females, your smallest girls that took 5 years to grow, don't do that, because you're just going to make
The
new
line
generation animals
weakened.
that are weakened, and these are going into your collection for the future that are going to even take, you're not actually going to get anywhere, because you're just
Yeah.
further weakening your own bloodline, and it's going to take you even longer. So it's like I did with the confusion. The one confusion male that actually made it to become a breeder for me, that did okay, I bred him to my biggest pied stock, and not all of them, but I have a much higher success so far with those holdbacks than I have, with all the original purchases. So take those animals and breed them to your best, even if they're not the most genetically insane. We are in a state in the market now where everything is pulled back so much that now we can take our time, right? Because things are not rush, 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 sell, mass produce. Take your time with it. Take that best animal, breed it to a genetically less powerful animal. If it's a huge female that's bred for you every year, that's giving you big clutches, because those are what you want in your holdback rack for the future. That's part of Justin's secret. He's spent so many years, just holding back the best and replacing stuff that he bought with his own produced best stock, selling off the stuff that's not as good. That's what everybody should do. So think ahead in that regards. Don't take your best animal and breed it to your weakest female just because it's going to make, it's a genetically powerful breeding. 100% of nothing is still nothing.
That's a great outlook. I never heard that, viewpoint prior to you saying that today in regards to the big females and not just worrying about the combo itself. It's really good.
On it
Yeah. Well, I
shows.
learned it. It's something that I learned with my chocolate DG Clown stuff. I mean, it's at first, like my friends were telling me, like in the beginning, like, yeah, it's just like, you just got lucky, this and that. But it's like season after season after season since 2020, since that original female and that monstrous male I still have today, every single animal that has come out from their lineage has been just freaking insane. I mean, I'll give you an example. The super chocolate DG Hypo Clown that I produced in 2023, the first one, the male,
Yep.
um, the mother was 18 months old.
Damn.
Yeah.
Really?
And I think that was it was either an 8-8, I can't remember if it was her or the other one, but it was an 8 egg clutch or a 10 egg clutch.
At 18 months.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And I'm not talking fat. You come here, you hold that snake, there's no skin folds. It's a beast. It's solid, thick, strong.
Ooh, pretty girl.
That was this one here is pastel spot nose redhead yellow belly.
That's nice. I want you to show one last one because I talked too much there. My apologies.
I like that pattern.
Nah, you're good. Yeah, so
What?
this is just the spot nose and redhead interaction with pastel yellow belly. So I mean, super striped out dorsal with the spot nose redhead, and then the uniformity of the alien heads.
It
It's
seems
pretty
like it almost
consistent.
controlled the pastel. It didn't let pastel go crazy, except for the pigmentation.
The spot nose redhead is the key because that interaction between those two outside of clown is just a really strong That's why Justin thought they were allelic, because the strong striping and then like the pattern on each side, you could see
Yeah,
like the
super
spot nose, it
controlled and
lines it
uniform.
all up.
It's like a lace.
Yeah, real uniform. And
Yep.
then it's almost like a bumblebee head pattern in a way.
Well, don't say that.
Not really, but like how the blushing on the top kind of gets dark on the sides.
No, I'm just messing
If
with you. No, it's
if
a
it
beautiful snake.
spot nose pastel stuff has a bumblebee head, I like it though. Like the spot nose pastel DG combos, those always give you like the
Can
bumblebee
you
spots on the head.
can you pull up the lace? The two. I just wanted to show off those ones too. The two lace ones.
I'm not sure. Let me see what else I got over
You had it up
here.
there. I was
Oh,
talking.
this one?
You hit a redhead lace?
Yeah.
Oh
Is
shit.
that it?
Let me see. Yeah, there you go. So those are both
All
lace.
right, cool.
The one to the right is a black pastel, red stripe, red head, spot nose lace clown. And then the one to the left is just a spot nose red head lace.
Nice.
And that's young. There's so much. The one on the right is like way brighter now. This is actually last season's, not this season's. And you know how lace gets better and better as it ages.
Absolutely.
It looks like DG now. It's pretty crazy.
Lace is amazing.
The head
Yeah.
stamps are so consistent, man. They have that line, the little dots. It's like
Oh,
it's crazy.
Yeah, and that's another weak gene that I've encountered is lace that I'm trying to put to my, the father, which was the redhead combo, is a huge, really great breeder, and I put that him to her and hoping that, and these two animals have turned out to be phenomenal. That the original lace clown that I bought, she slowed down after about 600 grams, and it took me 4.5 years to get her to finally drop a clutch. And she's taken, I was her second year off now again. So not the greatest, but these two are like they haven't slowed down at all. So I think it could be another proof to the pudding there.
so I got this male out because he's my only other animal that includes redhead. But it's one of those combos you kind of lose it in. But you're saying, genetically, he's just like, I don't even know when I'll be able to produce an animal that will replace him. Because visually he's pretty, but he's not what he can make. So this guy is blackhead chocolate, black pastel, leopard, redhead.
Dark. Everything's dark.
Do you think the leopard is what's striping it out like that?
So
With the black
blackhead,
pastel?
black pastel, leopard, chains and lifts,
Yeah.
but the redhead turned it all to fuzz. There's no more pattern left because redhead fuzzed it all
Yeah,
out.
it's super washed there.
I called him Comet because it's like a streaking comet down his neck, and then it just fizzles out and just, space.
Mhm.
But that
It's genetically
male,
powerful to run through your collection.
yeah, super powerful. So I'm actually going to be pairing him to that female I just had out, and that's one of my highest odds pairings. So it was blackhead, black pastel, chocolate, leopard, redhead, triple het, hypo DG clown to pastel, spot nose, yellow belly, redhead, het clown.
Wow.
And I'm hoping to get some
You
weird
should hit
stuff
some
out of there.
elite.
It's gonna be one of those. That's gonna be one of the craziest pairings that I'm doing, as far as like things that I'm gonna be like confused on and not sure exactly what's what. It'll definitely take me a while to sort through that type of a pairing, but
That's when you hit up Charlie. Shed tested.
yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting. Everything's going to be guaranteed chocolate or black pastel. So that should be pretty easy to determine which ones, or chocolate or blackhead, sorry. And then leopard, black pastel typically is going to be easy to identify in those combos. It's really when we get like the double redhead, super redhead, if that's potential. And then, getting into the actual clown combos and the hypo. Well, there's no hypo potential. unless there's something floating around. But into the actual clown combos, it's gonna really get fuzzy when you get stacked, just like this male. Miguel at Always Evolving actually produced the visual version of this in a female, and she was visually stunning and appealing. She had a lot more pattern, a lot more drops and stuff like that, and her color overall was amazing. But I'd like to see it more so in those ALS combos, like I was asking about earlier, with the blackhead chocolate, chocolate spot nose, blackhead spot nose, and then adding on those other dark mutations like the black pastel, and then hopefully the super. I mean, I'm still hopeful that that proves out, and I haven't seen anything about it proven out. Have you, Jade? Have you, Anthony or Jordan?
Mm-mm.
I'm not trying to figure out at this point.
Not yet.
Redhead as a super.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
don't think I don't.
could be the first one of the first pairings to really prove it out. We'll see. Well, not prove it out, but try for it. Can't prove it till
It's
we
funny
actually
because
get one
back
to
in the
breed.
day, the process of releasing a gene into the marketplace was to first prove that it was
The
genetic,
super.
isolate it, and
Yep,
then next step was to figure out
prove
if
it
it's
out.
a super. And now we have a bunch of genes coming to market. We don't have it like Scrambler. We don't have any answers. There's like it's really changed. It's things are just changing. It's crazy.
Yeah,
A
that's
nice
all plays
combo.
into the race, you know. I need to be the first person to get this single gene mutation out because maybe someone else got it around the same time and they're going to call it something else. So, oh, I proved it genetic by breeding it to this Mojave. And then I bred it another season to this or the same season to that. And I got some different
Exactly.
looking animals. So it's genetic and I'm going to sell it. And the diligence isn't there in those projects, and that's why you see the values of them fall because everybody's reproducing these single genes, whereas back in the day everybody was going for homozygous forms of a lot of things. When you got a lesser or a butter back in the day, you wanted to go for the blue eye leucistics. If you got a pastel, you wanted to go for the super pastels. Everybody wanted the supers back then because there wasn't as many recessives, but now everybody kind of seems to fall away from those supers and look more towards the recessives.
Yep, exactly. It's I don't know if there's ever going to be a time and place where things slow down again. I think shed test kind of makes that impossible at this point. I think
Yeah,
things are just going to get
for
faster and
sure.
faster and faster and faster, and you're going to see more genes that get announced as genes that are, like I don't want to, flame or name anybody, but there's that one specific gene that I've mentioned so many times. I don't want to mention it right now again. That I look at it and I'm like, guys, come
It's
on.
all right.
Scrambler.
Yeah, well, I
We
don't.
all are entitled to our opinions. It's okay.
That's what I mean. I
But
don't want to offend anybody. I'm
let's,
looking.
yeah,
The
yeah,
way,
for sure.
the
I
way I
think it's
look
a
at it
combo.
is if somebody goes and puts a gene on the market and is asking people to pay them tens of thousands of dollars for the gene, then at the very least there should be, like you said, due diligence. Okay, let me see the basic form. What does the basic form look like? Show me a couple of examples when you add a couple more things to it. Make sure it's isolated. Is there a super? Have you tried for the super? Have all these questions laid out so that way people that are buying it can get a little bit more confidence. But unfortunately, that's just not happening. And you've got I'm
So,
looking at pictures of this one specific gene, especially in pie, that's like, oh, it's this, that, and this new gene. It's like, well, I've made so many pies that look like that, and it doesn't have that. So and
yeah,
that's how people
it
get
gets
burnt.
trivial in a lot of things too, because is it an older mutation you found because you bought an animal that was carrying it that wasn't identified with it from a collection that just was like, well, they get a free gene or they don't. We're not going to label it.
Well,
Is it one of those
it puzzles my
situations or
brain. It puzzles my mind because there's one specific individual on Facebook. I'm not going to mention names, but this gene was announced to Morph Market 18 months ago, and now the guy has it in hypopuzzles, hypopides, clown, triple recessive this that he's got it in every single I said, how the hell did you get a gene that supposedly came out 18 months ago in 10 different recessives in 18 months when I have yet to make a outside that super chocolate hypo clown took me 5 years to make it, just one. multi-recessive.
Now, if it
right?
was found in a breeder's collection and they had been working in that collection for a long time, that very well could pop up in many of their projects because they had bred it unknowingly across,
But if the guy has
trying
no
to
proof of
produce,
buying
but
it
just
from the
trying to
source,
produce the highest quality and breed the highest quality, that's happened in a lot of projects. Just like Cypress, for example, is the best one. Back in the day when Cypress originally came around, everybody pushed for the best quality Cypress, but now we know the best quality cypress from back then had honey attached. Now you take honey out of cypress, cypress is kind of trash looking. You know what I mean? It's not as good because it
Unless
had
it
a
has redhead.
hitchhiker. But now
unless it has
honey popped up and honey was everywhere in a lot of collections and the people didn't know about it because nobody was identifying it. They just didn't know about it. So it could happen, is all I'm saying.
I mean, yeah, sure, with one or two
Highly
recessives,
unlikely.
not
And
10
maybe it got
recessives.
identified and listed as it was identified, but then it just, now it's identified, but I already have it.
Yeah, I don't tell people how to spend their money. All I'm saying is,
It's a scam. It's a scam. Just say it.
ask, ask.
We all have
Well,
reservations for sure. You
I
have
just
to in this industry.
I want new people to ask the right questions because an omission is not a lie. It's just an omission. The expectation is on you to ask the question. If you don't ask the question, the breeder is not going to volunteer information to
For
you,
sure.
right? So if you're
At
spending tens
least
of
you can't
thousands,
expect them to.
exactly. So if you're spending tens of thousands of dollars, don't be afraid to ask those questions like, show me the super, show me this, show me that. Why do you think it's this? What is your, have conversations about it. It's a lot of money, right?
It's a fact.
It's a
Y'all
lot
are
of money.
killing it. Y'all are killing it for like the longest episode record right now. I
That's
want to
my
get your
fault.
reflections
That's
on
my
the
fault.
episode. No, it's good. It's been great conversation. There's nothing wrong with it. We could keep going, but I don't want to keep everybody here too long, especially with it being, before a Monday and people getting back to work. But I wanted to get everybody's reflections on the episode. I'm gonna start over here next to me with Big Mike.
Man, I had a blast. I'm sorry if I was talking a lot. I'm a talkative dude, but yeah, this was awesome, super informative. Love the animals I saw. Thank you for having me, Jared, and dope
Is there
episode.
any mutations you want to get and mix in with some redhead and play around with now?
Yeah, spot nose for sure. I want to get that in there. I actually have my redhead girl paired up, and it's nothing crazy. It's just she's a redhead head clown, and she's paired up to a hypo clown. Just make some redhead clowns that I have for hypo, see how that looks, and then from there, just keep moving it forward, and hopefully, like get it into Grim, and see what it does.
Grim.
Mm.
That's gonna turn it up, I think, for sure.
Yeah, I love my Grim.
All right, how about you, Jamie? What's your reflections from the episode?
Does anyone have any males that I could have on a breeder loan? No.
Ah,
Throw to a TSK Xanthic and see how that redhead works with Xanthic. Hit me up.
That'd be some
That
nice
pattern
pattern.
would look pretty wicked with Xanthic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, just sitting here reflecting. Actually, I was on Morph Market looking up like which redheads. Okie dokie.
Come back to my page in 2 weeks. You'll see a lot.
There you go.
I do have a rule. Like I have a certain budget that I will not spend if something is not het TSK Xanthic or Xanthic because my collection is like microscopic. If your collection is small, I'm like Jared. I have I would say I'm under about 80, and that includes any of my hatchlings that I'm still trying to sell. So I'm really picky with what goes in my like
Mike,
boxes and bins. So, but yeah, definitely interested in possibly throwing a redhead and seeing what it does with Xanthic.
for sure. Yeah, I definitely want to see that more for sure, especially after those like those fire, redhead, red stripe. I don't even know what else was in those kind of leopard. That
Crazy.
one animal, that thing, just insane. And I could just imagine that transferring to an Xanthic look. The layers that it would give you and the depth would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So Anthony, any takeaways or reflections from the episode tonight?
Yeah, I think this was a good episode. I think Jordan, it was good
Oh, you're
because
muted.
you got a good perspective from a salesman.
I think you're muted.
No, I can hear him.
I can hear
I
him.
can hear him.
Oh, okay.
You
You're
can hear me.
good. Keep going. I'm just.
We got a good perspective from a salesman on what to look for, what to ask, and listen, I've been doing this for a long time, and I still learn, every day. I'm still learning about this game industry, but yeah, it was a good episode, definitely.
I appreciate that. It's very humbling to hear from somebody who's, definitely a lot more experienced in terms of length of time than I am. Give me, that kind of credit in the sense that you
Yeah,
could learn
definitely.
something. You could learn something from me because I approach the same way. Like I'm trying to figure these things out, and I at least in my experience, the last couple of years have been a little bit more tougher for me because things have gotten a lot more cutthroat in amongst my circles, and just information is not really flowing as freely as it used to in my direction. And so I feel more kind of like isolated in that regards, and to like I just kind of got to figure things out on my own, like especially from some of the big dogs that I purchased from. The communication network there is also kind of fallen off a little bit, so you just which is fine, like when you're a customer, things are great, and then once you stop buying, it's I get it. There's no animosity there. It's just part of in business in general. But yeah, I'm navigating, and it's nice to know that I have something to offer to somebody like you who is a lot more experienced than I am overall. It's really nice to hear. So thank you.
Yeah, sure.
And
Good
yeah, great
episode.
episode, really good episode, and I'm pretty excited to start. I will say this is the last thing I will say. I'm at a big disadvantage over you guys in the States. We don't have a panel test, right? Like we have a lead
Yeah.
biologist in a university in Montreal that is
Oh.
using shed testing in ball pythons as a way to teach her students in genetics, her genetics class. And she doesn't have a sequencing machine. She sends it out, gets them back. She teaches her students how to read the results. So she's doing that for us here in Canada. But because she has to pay the lab for the sequencing, it doesn't matter how many tests you send her, you have to pay for each one individually. So I can't, if I send all
Wow.
100 redhead combos that I have right now to her for shed testing, and I got to test for 5 genes on each one, I'll go bankrupt. Like it's just,
Yeah.
it's not going to
Yeah, for
happen.
sure.
And just like ball pythons are, whether it's fluids, sheds, anything associated, it's all CITES. So for me to send sheds to RGI or whatever in the States or whoever you guys use, I have to pull a CITES. I have to do the U.S. Customs, U.S. Wildlife, all day. Super expensive. It's just not realistic. So
Wow.
Now,
I,
I have a curiosity about that, and I've asked one other person that was overseas, but if you're already doing a shipment into the States with live animals, could you pre-pack sheds and ship them in with those live animals that already have CITES permits because they're just sheds from the snakes that they're traveling with, so to
so
say, because it's the species?
Had to be declared.
Well, here's the thing. So there is a reasonable expectation with U.S. Fish and Wildlife that some snakes potentially could shed during transportation. But if you send down, let's say, like my average box is every 30 to 60 days is around 20 to 30 animals or less. The lowest I've ever sent was 12. Anyways, if each one of those containers has a shed in it, then it could lead to questions. And in our experience, shipping to Canada is super easy. It's the U.S. Fish and Wildlife is a headache. Any little thing, I can't even put T-shirts in the box because the
Oh,
T-shirts
wow.
will lead to questions, and questions lead to
Gotcha.
problems. So we want to do it in a way where it's the least amount of questions possible. So it's just super. So the legal way to do it, yes, is you would have to pull a separate CITES for the sheds, package the sheds separately.
Yeah, that's a
Wow.
headache. I was just thinking maybe there was a little loophole.
Well, I started doing because because my customer base has grown, and the company here in Canada charges an astronomical amount for U.S. shipping. It just wasn't economical for me anymore. So over the last 2 years, I've
Thank you.
figured out the process. I've been doing my own shipping with a U.S. distributor who's been helping me, a friend in Rhode Island who redistributes for me. So we've made that process super cheap and easy for my U.S. customers to save U.S. customers money. My shipment to the U.S.
That's nice.
My U.S. shipping is flat $50. Nobody in Canada offers.
Dang.
Nobody. Right? And
That's
that's
bad.
because of the distribution network that I've created. That being said, it's still not economical to send down a bunch of sheds on top of that every year. So
Yeah.
what I do is I ID snakes to the absolute best of my ability. I send pictures to Miguel, to Justin, to Jason Amos for Stranger Stuff, Brad Bolson. I send them all over the place. I get as much help as I can, and then once I tally up all the help, I will pick out one or two genes that I'm still unsure of and just test for those.
Gotcha. Yeah, makes
That's
sense.
how I do it. Otherwise, if I was in the US, I would do exactly what you guys do. Just full panel, one shed, give me the whole result, call it a day, right? So, anyways, that's all I wanted to add.
Well, thank you all for joining us tonight,
Good
showing
shit.
off your animals, Anthony, and talking about your amazing productions with us. Tons of gems of information and inspiration shared tonight by our panel of guests and dual co-hosts. First time for that. Appreciate you all. But make sure you all like, share, and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Check out all the sponsors and the beginning of the episode if you joined us a little later. Make sure you guys are using those discount codes, mentioning the genetic canvas when you inquire to our sponsors to get a better savings. And yeah, drop a comment with your favorite part of this episode.